Y'all know what it is. MZ Talks Boxing.
Let me make this abundantly clear. We talk about boxing here. My opinion is winning, but if you ain't feeling the good on your boxing, yeah. This mental headshot sting. So do these body blows that I bring. You wanted the big step to the ring. Let's go to the toe to the final bell ring. MZ Talks Boxing. Yeah.
Well, here we are on another Tuesday night, about 8:38. Let's let everybody get in here. Get these clouds away from around my head. Because I am in the clouds, but let me get it around my head. Let's get to our journalism setup. There we go. Damn Pitbull Cruz. Knocked out the dude, messed off my money. Andy Ruiz beat King Kong Ortiz, messed off my money. Cocksuckers. Let's go through the checks, make sure the balances and everything is right. Are we live? I believe we are. So, we had a pretty good weekend of boxing. King Kong Ortiz and Andy Ruiz went on and got their dance in. And Andy just happened to be the better dancer that night. King Kong took a loss. Now he has 3 losses. 2 at the hands of Deontay Wilder, 1 at the hands of Andy Ruiz Jr., the Destroyer. Now, a lot of people are claiming that they called this Andy fight, and they looking like geniuses right now. What can I say? Let's get this together. Come on now. We're messing around. Oh, I got to let people know about this new movie coming out, Joe Biden's son, called My Son Hunter. Look like it's going to be digging into a lot of criminal activity from old Hunter and stuff that he been getting away with. So, as usual, we're going to go ahead and put a little music on until the family starts falling into this place and we got everything the way we want it. Get the bets down real quick. Let's get stuff situated here. Make sure we let everybody know there will not be a show next Tuesday, but we will be celebrating the release of 3 songs. 1, 2, 3. 3 songs. Yo Cypher, Party Leg, and what's the other song? High Noon. All those will be being released September 15th, 16th, and it's only right that you guys be there. So we're going to hit them with bipolar discussion for a little bit while we go ahead and get ourselves together and get the show set up so the family can come through and jam. Let's share this screen here. Oh, yeah.
Yo, bro, hold up, bro. Let me talk. Hold on, bro. Calm down, man.
Bipolar discussion by O Beast of the Track Titans. Let's get it.
Take a deep breath and listen to me. It's not worth it. The value that you see in this violence is really worthless. Don't worry about that clown because he belongs in the circus. His purpose is the very definition of what jerk is. You got me nervous, all jumpy and shit. Walking around mean face, all grumpy and shit. Fist clutch, teeth grip, all huffy and shit. Matter of fact, Let me look around, we lucky he did. Fuck that, I'm bout it, and he can catch his bullet. Desert Eagle on my waist, itching for me to pull it. It's a new edition, after I cool it, now it's freezing. Making it asthmatic, hit it with two, leave him wheeze. Put that shit away, bruh, I'm not trying to catch a case. We need to have communication, let's talk face to face. Besides, if you let it off, there's witnesses in place. That's how rumors get around that community disgrace. Don't act within a haste and snatch a nigga's lifeline. Not trying to be displaced in jail for a lifetime. And based off my race is considered a black on black crime. But everything said is a waste if you're not in the right mind. This ain't the time to appeal. I wanna hear this nigga squeal. Unload 3 in his cab, turn his ass into bill. Baby steak, veggies on his grave. That's a full meal. He talking noise, I got the piece. See movement, meat still. Shit like it was right. You need anger management. You need to find alternative ways that you can manage it. Imagine this, if we talk calmly, there'll be no damages. Handle this like 2 grown men that smoke some cannabis. Inhale, exhale, then maybe we can vibe on this. Treat it as a one-time deal and let them slide on this. And he shut the fuck up, not with that kumbaya shit, so you can kill it, bro. He asking for the heat and I'ma let him feel it though. Put him 6 feet deep when he walks in that door. Oh shit, there that motherfucker go.
That was Bipolar Discussions by our brother Obese of the Track Titans. We got our first person in the house tonight. We got Maestro, a.k.a. Ernest Davis, a.k.a. Texas Timbo, in the house. Salute, bro. You know how it is. You know, we get in here on time and people be late. I come late and people be on time. But hey, it is what it is and it does what it does. We're going to have us some fun, acknowledging what happened this weekend in boxing, acknowledging how much money I lost, but I have one more than I lost, so it still looks good, dog. It still looks good. Allow me to get myself together and enjoy this night because it's an enjoyable night. How could it not be? Going to sit back, spin a couple of tunes, let the family fall on in the door, and we're going to get our chill on. Hopefully we have our sister come through, Armin Brown. I'm pretty sure the brothers are going to come through, Trey H, Gil Cole, Debo 404 Boxing probably fell asleep because, you know, he gets sleepy around this time. He'll wake up in a panic talking about, oh, man, I missed another live. Have to catch it through the replay. But it's all good because as family, as we call the Block family, I have noticed that even if somebody miss your show, they do go back and check out the replay. And you know it's being checked out because the things that they say afterwards lets you know that they checked out the show because they bring up things that goes on in the show that's deep into the show. So we got Andy Ruiz pulling off the win over Luis Ortiz. We got Isaac Pitbull Cruz, who pulled off a win against his guy the other night. And Tank showed up at the fight. Way to go, Tank, to show some support in the sport of boxing to other fighters. That was a good move. You guys let me know what you think about the Bipolar Discussion song, because that one is coming real soon. We also got 3 songs. We got High Noon, Party Leg, and the Yo Cypher that will be coming out next week. Repeat. Those songs will be dropping next week on the YouTube's Track Titan channel, as well as Tidal, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your music to listen to it, we will be there. The Track Titans are making a move. As Teofimo Lopez would say, we doing a takeover. So y'all be prepared. Have your little change ready to cop those singles. And then we'll put it together. The album will have a couple of songs that will not drop out as singles. But hey, y'all know how it goes. With that being said, without further ado, let us keep things going by giving you a taste of what's coming in High Noon.
I know. Boys, they wanna see me in the street so bad. I know. He made that bread when we were drinking in the kitty cat saloon. Dude got mad cause the dame chose me. I'm just drinking in the cut. Could it be the size of my boots that made her wanna say what's up? Looked at my partner with a smirk on my face and I shook my head. Tomorrow at high fucking noon, somebody ass gon' be dead. Where's my hat? I done got fucking mad, ain't gonna get no fucking sleep. Because of this fucking toad sucker done call me out in these streets. Got up early next morning, sent a message to my bros back home. Teller said, well, first I spit on the ground, and I said, who's gone? He asked, what's the message? Then I said, I'm sorry, I know I said I'm coming home soon. But I'm gonna be on the run, about to kill a toad sucker at about high noon. High noon. High noon.
Playing my guitar, sitting in the back with my head down low. Running on Joe, say single to the bar, keep saying some more. I'ma tell you a story about the kitty cat saloon. This is how it goes down. You got you some paper, you trying to come cheat, yeah, the girls let them move around. Now everyone knows how this story goes. The girl choose him, he just let her go. But this boy about to die for this broad catch fire, but this broad understand. Know her, he's standing in the perfect spot, but the perfect shot. If I squeeze, I'm a sniper for sure. I ain't got to worry about a body, why is that? My little brother home is cute, You come here tripping with fam, what happened? Automatically we used to be. I heard my big bro say, I'ma give you what you want, On the Marlboro, have your punk ass out in front, Tell your mom that her son will catch that at the highest time. I do.
Sitting behind the bar with a shotgun and some legs. Let some shit pop off in my spot, somebody will be getting the text. I ain't about that bullshit when I'm in my pulpit. Test me, that you know I'ma pull it. Click, clap, this clap, the mark's dead. The Morrison, return of the Mac in my head. Quick tempered, ill-mannered, but still managed to be calm with an intent to cause damage. Your lifelines like a grapevine, cut at any time. Stop on your remains, call it blood wine. It's not a preview, but a spoiler. Burn your remains, toss you in the boiler. Big bro, plugging on strings, scope and low-key, hoping these fools keep poking the beast. But Maestro, being Maestro, gave his op to high noon, preservation of his life. So loved ones will know that he gon' rest in peace. His count was running off at the mouth, and dangerous fish to be extinct soon. So this your last meal. Get your girl, have a drink, cause this your last thrill. Your girl chose him, I think you should've let it go. It's just another love knockout, technical. But I get you though, pride is emotional. And downfall is normally where the motion flows. 6 feet deep in the tombstone in a single rose. Your near future is soon to be exposed. I know. The kitty cat welcomes all you ladies and males. This is the last call for alcohol and the last bell for tail. We're open from noon to dawn, 7 days a week. Come get you a meal, drink up, and enjoy something sweet. Although it should be understood, I need to make it perfectly clear that once we close, you ain't gotta go home, but you can't remain here. We look forward to seeing you again at the Kitty Cat Saloon. And remember, there's a special event out front happening at high noon.
That was High Noon by the Track Titans. Coming at you live, fresh and direct. We got Trex in the house. He say salute OGs for the 100. We say salute right back to you, bro. What's going on? Things was a little shaky this weekend in boxing, but it was still good. It was still good. I can't complain about nothing that went down. Because my little wallet is growing, homeboy. My little wallet is growing. It don't matter. It don't. Scumbag of the decade. Hilarious. Oh, big. Come on. Texas Timbo speaking on scumbag of the decade. I can't even do the voice like him, but it is for scumbag of the decade. I can't. What do you say? Scumbag of the decade. The stripper told me to make it rain. Nigga check the weather. Told that hoe to do a rain dance. That's hilarious, bro. It is. It is. And we are going to unveil a little bit more of Scumbo Baggins tonight on this show. And I want to let everybody know, and we're going to keep on singing this a couple of times just to make sure everybody get it. There will not be a show next Tuesday because we'll be moving the date to the 15th and the 16th, celebrating my birthday. And we're celebrating the drop of High Noon Party Leg. And we the Cypher. So all those songs will be coming out on the 16th. So I look forward to dropping those, and I look forward to seeing what you guys think about it. Treg said, yeah, we had a rough time this weekend. I already know how to adjust, so I'll get us back right. Bro, I still made money. You know what I'm saying? I still made money. So, like I said, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. I'm in it for the ride, and I'm learning. I'm seeing the certain little things to look at. I've learned a whole bunch about the betting lines and the odds and stuff that I had no idea about betting. So yeah, I've learned a lot through you going through this journey, and I'm enjoying it and having fun. So yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep riding. I told you I'm trying to save up for whenever Spence and Crawford decide they want to fight. I'm trying to save up for it through this. And right now it's doing pretty good. Can't believe Andy Ruiz took his butt out there and beat Ortiz. It was a pretty good fight. I see Ortiz put that left in Andy's life quite a bit. But Andy had resilience, and Andy was pushing through. He kept things going. He kept putting those combinations on. He let those little fast hands of his go, little short stubby arms be going. I was surprised to see Ortiz go down so quick, but it looked like that first drop that he put that Andy hit him with caught him right on the temple. That will kind of mess off your equilibrium. I don't care who you are. You get hit in the temple, you gonna feel it. So with that being said, y'all holler at me. Y'all start letting me know what it is that y'all got going on. I'm let you know what I got going on. Don't have no Stella Rosa, but I do got something to sip on. I got this new thing they called a Seagram Spike, Jamaican me happy. Gil Cole's in the house. Wait a minute. He talking about heating up some crow. Hold up. Let me microwave this plate for the OG reheated crow. You won't be reheating no crow for me. You seen me come on in and put my little old thing on. I had black bean soup, shrimp, and baked crow with a glass of Stella Rosa Black. So you could say that preheated plate for somebody else. I mean, that reheated plate for somebody else. I don't know who, but not for me. You feel me? Glad to see you in the house, man. Glad to see you in the house. Oh, shoot. Let me remember before somebody say, MZ don't be dropping the link no more. Like, he just don't be wanting people to come on. And that ain't true at all. Always had the door open. Let me go on and open the back door right now. Cut the light on. So anybody want to come through can come through. We had a great show the other week. We had forgot the young man's name. The boxing nerd. Is it Xavier the boxing nerd? I think that's his name, Xavier. But anyway, Texas Timbo saying, what's up to Gil Cole? Salute. Tonight we just going to have some fun. Ain't no need for me to talk about the losses that I took. I'm only talking about how I'm rolling through. Say, don't worry about it, OG. I took care of Gil Cole's on champ. There we go. Let me put the only champion that I know. The only champion from the Block family, from the gym. Let me put him up right now. Trey X says, don't worry about it, OG. I took care of Gil Coles on Champ Ross. That's what I'm talking. That's champ talk right there. That's champion talk. Gil Coles, can you match that? Can you match that since you want to bring out the crow on me? Yeah, we talking to champions tonight. Well, I guess I'm just talking to a champ. We had some people get close, but then they let somebody walk in and steal it right away from up under them. I just don't know what to say. I really don't. Except better luck this season. If anybody got anything they want to add to the situation, anything happened that I need to know about this weekend, that was Gil Coles is asking a question. He says, OG asked Trey X what place he in on the Champ Ross. I'm holding down a strong 70. A strong 70. A strong 17th. You notice I had to say it, try to get it out 3 times because, we usually don't acknowledge people that's not in the top 5. But, since we family and it's the Block family, we be falling into the gym, I guess it's all right for me to talk to you a little bit. Trey X, do you have anything you want to say? Gil Coles is popping off talking about 17th place. I know you ain't trying to tell me that my boy Trey X is lower than 17th. I know that's not what you're trying to say. I know that's what you're trying to say. If it is, shame on you. So, did anybody catch the news that about Terrence Bud Crawford at the 50 Cent basketball game that took place in Houston? I believe they were in Houston. And Trey Songz, for whatever reason, decided that he lifted enough weights, and by him being a singer, he tried to get a little fly with old Terrence Crawford. And I heard Terrence Crawford and he got into a little wrestling match of some sort, and he got his ass slammed into next week. And Terrence Crawford told him, we can go in the back room and I can put these hands on you and ain't nobody gonna do nothing but hear you crying for help. What's wrong with these people? What would make a singer think he can jump and just, I guess Trey Songz looked at Terrence and was like, oh, he ain't that big. I'm bigger than him. I'm cut up. The girls is supposed to be all on me, but now they ain't here talking about Bud, who is Terrence Bud Crawford? And Trey Songz got a little jealous. Ran his ass up on T-Bud and got handled. I wish I could have seen that. I wish there was footage of it so I could be laughing and rolling because he should have knew better. If anybody heard about that, feel free to let me know what you think about it in the chat. But I saw that on more than one channel. And I was like, wow, these people are really losing their minds. Singers is running around trying to fight, dealing with fighters. Terrence Crawford used to wrestle too, I believe. So they better leave that little black dude alone. They better leave Bud alone. Let Earl of Truth Spence Jr. deal with that. And they just sit down and watch. Pay your ticket and watch the fight. Don't try to fight the fighter. Trey X, speaking in on Gil Coles, I believe, say, once you win the championship, you transcend all that. I'm making the run. Okay. Gil Coles said Trey Songz wanted to be Bud's mandatory. Now, I don't think that's what he want. I don't think he want to be Bud's mandatory because he gonna go out there and get hands put all on him. Hands, feet, elbows, knees, whatever you figure can be laid on a person, he gonna lay him. Now, I'm gonna surprise y'all tonight with the first verse and the second verse of Scumbo Baggins. We're gonna drop it on more than one occasion just to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see that we are serious about this, putting this hit out on somebody named, what's his name? Can't even remember the man's name because it just hurt me that somebody in the clique didn't handle their business like they supposed to. There you go. So, Gil Coles, we gonna let your joke end the song, but we're not getting to that part yet. Oh, we just about to, let me give you a taste of what we got. Ladies and gentlemen, the Block family has taken a hit out on a certain person. And this is what it sounds like.
Let me tell you about the legendary Scumbo Baggins, also known as King of Kings. The man so cheap he went to the strip club and the stripper told him to make it rain. That cheap motherfucker checked the weather and told the bitch to do a rain dance. Straight scumbag behavior.
Scumbo, bagging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo. Bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What? Yo, I don't fuck with the shady type. The Flakegate, Belichick, and Tom Brady type. 10-ounce gloves that been 90 degrees in a title fight. Or niggas that bet but don't wanna pay their debt. Scumbag behavior. See the light? Alright, then explain. Talk to me. How you have the mental fortitude to play the game. How? Place a bet on a round in the fighter's name. Then in victory, you quick to run and collect your claim. But in defeat, you quick to vanish. This ain't the multiverse with 5 rings or a hand of Thanos. There's only one ring involved, and it has a canvas. And since you gone, stay gone, nigga. You're banished. We gotta do it, cause it's only right. You broke a bond with the fellas that was airtight. The way you be naked has got these motherfuckers hype. Guaranteed when they see you, nigga, it's on sight. We talking about
Scumbag of the decade. The man so cheap he takes his own leaves to the lemonade stand to get the price drop from a quarter to a dime. Nobody off limits, not even the king.
So now the men joke, Scumbo, bragging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo, bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What?
Scumbo bagging, his pockets must be lacking. Floating on a bed and then post like that's what's happening. Jumps on the show, chest out, bro. I'm really hoping he say he about to pay or want to know. Scumbag behavior. Did that boy just say that shit? Right then and now, say he get this weed split. Trey H starts it out. Piping getting egg, Eric R stutter ragging. Coming up with Scumbo Baggins. I done got pissed. His bragging made me mad. I really thought he was better than that. He showed himself a fag. MZ stutter roast. Dude didn't give a shit. He was proud of the shit he did, laughing like a bitch. Now he in his feelings. Don't get mad, bro. You know you're supposed to pay our bets. Who you gotta go? Hiding in the wing. We see you scumbag king. Bet you wish you didn't say that shit. Pay your debts, king of kings. I wonder what you really thought when you came out like that, bro. Said, fuck it, let me have it. I can take it like you really like to be a scum, yo. You must have thought we was some lame ass niggas you could bully on this boxing talk show. You got us twisted, now you're missing. Don't hear you laughing, scumbo.
Scumbo Baggins. The man so cheap his son told him he wanted to grip. So Scumbo told the boy to start fucking bitches without a rubber. Now that's a scumbag.
So now the men joke, Scumbo, bragging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo, bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What?
That's right. We got 2 verses of it done. We almost done with it, and then we're gonna go ahead and bail it. But I had to let y'all see that we are doing it. And I'm gonna jump that a couple of more times throughout tonight. Trey said he don't even know the man that he going. He went hard on that mug. All you gotta do is give us a target to shoot on. Gil Cole's in there laughing. He say, Trey X, you a fool, bro. Yeah, scumbag of the decade. I love the way that part come right there. Scumbag of the decade. Scumbag. So, just so you guys know, we are working on it. We did take what you guys brought to us to heart. And I just wanted to let you guys know and let you guys see that we are working on it and getting it together. And letting it go. So I'm glad to see that you guys are pleased with what's coming so far. I got to put my verse on there, and then we'll wrap it up. Heck, I'm even thinking that we should go ahead and publish that song and just make it a song and put it out on iTunes and Apple and all that. What y'all think? Should we let it out or not? That's the question that I'm asking everybody. Should we put that song out to the world? Or should we just save it for the Block family and people here on MZ Talks Boxing? Treggs threw up the flames. Gil Cole's ass, and Ernest Davis. You on the track too? Yeah, you know Texas Timbo was going to be on there, man. Come on now. What kind of question is that? He a track type. He's a track type. Treggs say, that's what's up. I like that. Appreciate it. Appreciate it all the way down. Gil Cole said, I figured there was uh-oh. He said, I figured that was Ernest Davis, I figured that was you on the verse. Treggs said, I'll buy it. Gil Cole said, I'm buying the song and the t-shirt. Oh, that's a good one. A t-shirt. We should get some t-shirts made. Scumbo Baggins. Gonna have to hurry up and get that done and get that name covered before somebody steal it. Well, if somebody get it from the Block family, cool. Let it be what it is. But that's what it is. Fellas, Gil Coles, the door is open. I'm inviting you to come through and holler at MZ Talks Boxing. Come on, holler at your boy. Let's chop it up. Trey X, if you got time, hit the button and come through. Big bro, even if you got time and you can get up in here, come on in here. Tonight is one of those nights. I'm just, I didn't really have a whole bunch prepared for y'all because Angie Ruiz beat Ortiz. I still can't believe it. I can, because it's not hard for me to believe, Ortiz up in age and everything. But I felt like King Kong still had some left in him. But Andy was able to put him down on the canvas 3 times, and it's hard to win a fight after you've been knocked down 3 times. At least that's my opinion. If anybody else got an opinion about that, let me know. Pitbull Cruz, that also surprised me. He knocked that dude not just out, but smooth out. Still, what's the word? The word slips my mind right now. I'm having a brain fart. My tongue is twisted. All kind of stuff is going on up here. And there we go. The man who follows Keith Thurman, who says Keith Thurman is the true champion of 147 pounds. The man who says Keith Thurman will whoop Bud and Earl the Spinach Jr., which I don't agree with on the second part, but he is what he is. We got our boy Gil Cole play the flute. What's up, bro?
What's happening, man? What's happening?
Man, you got it, man. You got it. Glad to see you come through and holler at us. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. I came on the show just in time.
Oh, you mean because of the song?
Yeah, I ain't even know, man.
We were serious when we put the little call out to tell everybody to send a little sample of their voices and stuff. We were serious about that. We were serious 100%.
Yeah, that song had me rolling, man.
Yeah, especially that scumbag of the decade. His part, it fit right in. Like they said, he gonna want to fight when we put your part at the end. That's gonna be a problem. You might have to go ahead and get ready.
Oh, I stay ready.
But yeah, when y'all gave us the idea and we put it out, our boy Obese, soon as he heard the beat, he was like, "Tell me his name. Tell me what happened." We let him know what happened. Well, you heard what he had to say.
Yeah, man, y'all killed it, man. Y'all was killing it on there.
Oh shoot, him and Big E, him and Maestro wrecking it. They didn't put me in a situation.
Yeah, you ain't put no verse on there?
Not yet. I haven't put one on there yet, but I'm gonna work on mine tonight. I wanted to make sure that the first 2 parts was perfect and everything was set up, and we want to give it to you guys in segments. That's all. Yeah. We got J1 Pro in the house. He said, "What's good? Salute to you, bro. Salute to you." Yeah, Gil. I was surprised when I looked up one day and I saw that email from you. I was like, "What's this Gil Cole sent?" Now I have a question because I noticed the note on there. Were you saying that you wanted me to speed it up and change your voice up or something?
No. No, I don't know what that was about. That might have just been the little recorder I used.
Okay,
Cause I ain't even know how to record my voice and send it to you. I must have had some kind of little app on here already, or it made me download the app. Cause Trey X seen that too. I sent him a clip of it first, and he heard it, but he was like, "Man, you got background noise." So I redid it, and I guess I found out a way to send it to him or whatever again or something like that. I forgot how it went.
Look at Trey X producing from the sideline, letting you know you got background. Background. You know he the background noise king. He don't want no background noise. He tell people stop breathing when I'm talking. So how your week been going, man? How things been going with you?
Man, everything good, man. Just went, starting back work today. Everything went smooth.
That's good. That's good. So how'd you enjoy this weekend of boxing?
Man, that was a good card for me. What was your boy name? That Rayo fight. That was a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Old boy came in out of nowhere and whooped his ass, man. I thought that was I didn't know he was a late replacement at first. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But that was a good fight. That Abner Mares, I wanted him to lose, but
you wanted Abner to lose?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I picked that dude. I think Flores. I think that's who that was. He fought.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost that. I lost that pick there.
I was surprised that Abner even decided to get back in the ring after both of those eye injuries. I actually thought he was done, but I guess the itch got too strong for him and made him come back.
Yeah.
You think he gonna be brave enough to step in the ring with he was supposed to fight Tank. That's when when that second eye injury happened. You think he's gonna be willing to revisit that fight?
Nah, not. I don't think so. No,
So
I think he just wanted to get it out of his system.
Okay. So you don't think he's finna try to make no run and get serious? You think he's gonna put his suit back on and get back on the sideline?
That's what I think.
Okay, well, time will tell. Time will tell. Pitbull Cruz proved to the masses that he will still knock somebody out.
Yeah, that was a good one too. That's a little mean little dude right there.
Yeah, he go hard. I don't think Tank is getting enough credit for beating him, especially with. I think did he break his hand in that fight? I don't really think Tank is getting the full credit for beating Cruz.
Nah.
A lot of people are calling for a rematch with him, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. I'd rather see Tank. I want to see Tank fight that Ryan. Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. At 140 or 135.
Yeah,
go. Or do you think it'll make a difference?
I don't think it'll make a difference for Tank. I think he'll knock him out. I don't know. It'll be a good fight, but I think Tank can beat him at 140. I mean, he already. I think he. How can I say it? Like, Tank's short, but he kind of like a fat boy though. I don't think it's hard for him to get to 140. I think it'd be probably be better.
He's just so short.
Yeah, he's short.
That's his only problem. He's just so short.
Mm-hmm. But you see him blow up in between fights. He be like fat. His face get all puffed down. And, I don't know.
I'm thinking he's working on that. I'm thinking he's working on that, trying to get a little more discipline. Because I think it seems like just listening to him and seeing and hearing what he's trying to do, it might be like he's trying to get himself together so he can take over his own career. But only time is going to tell us on that. If it comes down to him and Ryan fighting, I'm leaning toward Tank all the way around the block. But as Trey X pointed out, Ryan ain't going to be no lay down punk. Ryan, he fast, he's strong. But I don't know. I gotta see how he gonna really deal with some like real controversy. Getting knocked down and getting back up, he can prove that he can do that. But I want to know, what's gonna happen if some real controversy get up on him. And the same thing for Tank. If Ryan catch Tank a few times with Tank, will we see him change, or will we see him turn into a little dragon into the ring and step his game up?
Yeah.
So what kind of cars you been fixing on lately? Oh, you said you just going back to work.
No, I mean, goddamn, man, I mess with everything, man. It be all kind of cars. Like I'm messing with old Chrysler 300 right now. Got to paint the whole side of a Chrysler 300. It's like I don't know, 2017 or something like that, 15. But I fix everything though. Old cars, new cars, whatever.
I got a Ford Fusion that's
actually a good car. That's a good car.
Yeah, but I was at the gas pump the other day, last week to be exact. I was going to head to Houston, and right when I pulled the gear shift, the mug stopped moving, and I think the cable to it is broke.
Yeah, it probably came out the shifter.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people telling me. And I looked at it, I'm not going to try to mess with it, but it looked like it's kind of difficult. How hard is that to work on, so I can kind of have an idea of how much I might have to come out of my pocket?
Probably, well, if you pay a shop, you probably looking at between 300 to 500. The shop labor, it depends. Like most shop labor by the hour is like at least $100 an hour, plus the cable. And it might be like a 2-3 hour job, maybe a 2 hour job or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to ask you and get some kind of laying on what I might be looking at if I take it to a shop. That sounds about right. I can deal with that. Joseph Brown in the house. He say salute MZ. I say salute right back at you. Appreciate you stopping in. Y'all hit that like button on your way in for me, just so we can get some mics in around this camp and keep things going. Trey X still shooting those slugs. Shot fired. He always say that's an illegal chop shop that Gil Cole's running, man. Don't y'all fall for that okie doke. Gil Cole to have your car down there and it'll be in Mexico a week later.
Hey, it just might, bro. For the right price, it just might.
Oh shit!
It might be some screws missing out that mug too.
Oh, see, not one of those kind of mechanics. One thing and then loosen up the screws on something else, so you'll be back next week talking about, hey man, this wrong. Oh yeah, about 200-300. I can fix that for you.
Yeah, the screw. If there ain't no leftover screws, it wasn't done right. You know what I'm saying?
That's not what my auto mechanic teacher taught me when I was in high school. He was like, if it's some screws left over, you missing something.
Yeah, that shifter cable ain't a hard job though. I've done plenty of them. Nah.
Okay.
It ain't really that bad.
Yeah, I got to get that car back on the road for my son and my daughter. I don't want them driving the other two cars. They're a little older. And the little hoopty that I usually use for back and forth to work, I'd rather drive that. I do not want them in that. I want them in a newer car. So, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Joseph Brown said Gil Cole be using illegal car parts around this camp. Oh, shoot. How you say it? Call a whale from water, a frog from the sea. I said that backwards. Frogs be in ponds and shit, not seas. But, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Trey X. What's up, Trey? What's going on?
Salute. What's going down, OG?
Man, I'm just sitting back, twiddling my thumbs, smoking on this gas, sipping on this Jamaican Me Happy Spike Seagram's Punch, and enjoying tonight. I'm off. We won't have a show next Tuesday. I'm going to let y'all know early because I'll be working that day because my birthday coming up, so I'm going to work on my off day so I can get my birthday off. And we'll be celebrating my little birthday.
Yeah, my birthday next month. It's on a Tuesday, too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, snap. Then I will be off that day because, I'll be past it. But, yeah, I remember you saying your birthday was in October.
Yeah, October the 4th.
Early October.
Yeah, salute, Trey X.
Salute, you going to be 18?
38, man.
38? Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. He gonna be the Saturday night special.
Yeah. I'm the little brother after goddamn Click.
Man, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And talk to more shit.
That's usually how the youngest ones do. You know, 'cause they be loose and still hot headed. They don't realize it. You know, you can calm down a little bit. You can let that shit slide. Let that slide, man. Let that slide.
Hey, they got me on one of them picks big time, OG. That fight that he was just talking about, Rayo Valenzuela.
Right.
I didn't know his opponent had 265 amateur fights. Nigga, I looked everywhere for that shit and couldn't find nothing. And then I heard Joe Goosen say that he had 260 fights, and I found an article that said he was 259-6. And look, I ain't been able to find the article since. So when I heard that shit, I was like, what? This motherfucker got 260 some amateur fights, and I took a man that was 53-5. I was heated, man, because I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? But I guess the bright side is, like, I done made over 100 bets, and that's the only time that done happened so far, you know what I'm saying? And then with the Pitbull Cruz, I fucked up on that because I didn't believe Fat Meat was greasy. I knew his opponent done fought as low as 122, and Pitbull ain't never fought below 135, so that guy was there to be knocked out. And I didn't believe Fat Meat was greasy, and I was looking at the odds and shit. So I said, man, we're going to go and shoot a shot. But that was a mistake, you know what I'm saying? So I won't be making that type of mistake no more.
Bro, I ain't gonna even lie to you. When that one came across my screen and it said the distance, I was like, Pitbull? You know what I'm saying? I was like, dang, he ain't gonna knock somebody out. But okay, let me go ahead and do what it is. And when you shot it back to me and said, we lost on these two, I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, but this the thing, though. Them type of bets been paying off, like, over and over. Like, it was a similar bet to the Joey Spencer fight. I don't want to say too much because I don't want the nigga Gil Cole to be put, you know what I'm saying?
You're writing down now. It sounds like I hear ESPN on the pad.
The only difference was is that the other guy fought at low weight classes, Eduardo Ramirez, and the Salgado guy, he didn't fight at lower weight classes. So that was the difference in the bet. You see what I'm saying? But they were very similar circumstances, though. And like I said, we didn't hit on that shit a million times. Like, out of all the but that was actually an underdog pick on that one. But in the similar situation, like, my record is like 29-8. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's lucrative for the most part. So I just went on and took a shot. But like I said, man, I know the adjustments to make, and I don't like losing, so we won't be losing like that again. Salute to my Amazon angel, Almond Brown, in the building.
That's right. What's up, Almond? Sis in the house. She said, hey, fam, Trey X, MZ, Gil, Cole, Chat, and Mars. Blessings.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a wild week, man. A wild week. All kind of stuff been going on at my job, in boxing, with songs, you name it. It's just been enjoyable.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I think they're gonna cut for that song when it dropped, man. I like that shit.
Yeah, she did.
Oh boy, went off on that first verse. OG did too. You know what I'm saying? That shit was cold.
Yeah, he called it like Big Bro verse, really speaking on like the conversation we was having the night that y'all decided to put a hit out on the man.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that shit.
I'm like, the Block family to put out a real hit. Yasser came on that mug and started going off. But
I ain't even hear Yasser. I ain't even hear his part.
No, we haven't put Yasser on there. What I'm saying, he don't have a part on. I'm saying the night of the show, Yasser came on the show right when we were getting ready to sign off, and he was going off.
Yeah, he had time that night.
Man, he was on that mug going off. I didn't even think he typed and said stuff like that. That man went off.
Hey, you should have seen him after the show in the Discord.
Oh, he was in there snapping.
Man, going hard.
Yeah, I listened to that show that next morning. I had missed the show. You know what I'm saying? I wake up. You know, replayed the show and everything. I go in the Discord. I see Yasser going off. I was like, damn, I missed this shit.
Yeah, I was surprised. What surprised me, I went in the Discord and I'm like, Wait a minute, that's MZ Toss Box's picture of MZ. It's a big old wanted poster. Look who
Hey,
showed up, y'all. Look who think it's safe. I can't remember exactly what was said on there, but he said something about look who just showed up.
he was
Well,
mad at your ass at first, OG, because he thought that you shut the show down to protect the motherfucker.
Oh, what? I'm glad you let me know.
Now, I
That
told
way
him, I was like, nah, because you had actually already said that you were gonna shut it down before he came.
Right.
So I told him, I was like, hey, he already said he gonna shut it down, man. He ain't trying to protect that motherfucker. He was like, oh, okay, my bad about that shit.
Joseph Brown said, well, yes, so don't let the smooth talk fool you. Hell, I see. He snapped so hard. Trey X, I'm glad you let me know. Let me go ahead and get my armor for my back so I can make sure I don't get hit in the head with a brick or something. You know what I'm saying? But no, you're right. I did say that we was getting ready to shut it down. I think we had been pushing on like close to 3 hours that night.
Yeah. Yep.
So when he showed up, you know, I had already started the process of leaving. So I'm glad you helped him understand, because that's the last thing I need is for somebody to be upset for the wrong reason. Believe me, I'm gonna give you a reason. If you're gonna be mad at me,
yeah,
it's gonna be a reason. I'm gonna know that you're mad because I did it on purpose.
Yeah.
What you been up to this weekend, bro? I said this weekend. What's today? Tuesday? Well, yeah, the weekend just passed. I never get to enjoy them anyway. So y'all let me know what y'all do for Labor Day.
Shit, I put some goddamn jerk chicken on that grill yesterday.
Oh, you was grilling? Can you grill?
Yeah. Man, I'm from Florida.
What that mean?
Man, we got good weather all day, every day. Man, I've been grilling for 30 years, man.
Oh my goodness. Now, have you been grilling or have you been queuing?
Man, I make the best jerk chicken in Florida, man.
Well, you know, what can you say? That's Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got a grill culture, man. Them niggas be going back and forth about that grilling all the time.
Yeah.
Hyphy and all them motherfuckers.
Hey, I know.
From Florida?
Who? No, Hyphy just be grilling.
Oh, okay. I can get out there with the old school and grill from time to time. Almond Brown said that was a good live with Xavier last time. Yeah, we went from boxing to a whole bunch of other stuff. We got touched on serious topics. I enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah.
What the topics was? What you talking
about? We had got to talking about you know, what am I trying to say? The LBGQT ABC. And people changing themselves and not being changed, and the rights. You know, I was more serious about the rights of humans and so-called gay people, saying that they don't have the same rights. And I'm like, you a human, right? Yeah, so you got the same rights. You just trying to force some extra stuff. And we spoke about women and their rights and what they should be able to do, this abortion stuff and the different ways to look at certain things. It just, you know, it just took a run for itself, and everybody had some great opinions on it.
Okay.
It was one of those kind of shows that you hope to have a lot where it just blossoms and takes off and does its thing.
Yeah, cool little conversation. Didn't nobody get too like being out of shape about the shit, so that made it cool.
Yeah, I don't think anybody got bent out of shape. Actually, everybody held their ground pretty good. It was just a great debate. It was a great debate. Everybody had their things. We had to realize that Xavier is young. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, when you're debating a young person like that, you got to kind of put your mind in that time frame, in that mindset, to get them to understand. Because right now we have to realize, I'm just throwing it out there, these people have already been touched growing up, so they way of thinking is way different from ours.
Yeah,
real shit.
But Trey X, you know, Trey X being the closest one to that mind frame, he gave the young man some good conversation and some good points to let him see where we're coming from. Because it was some old stuff that I was saying, you know, it wouldn't need no need to even say it because he wasn't even born.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Armin Brown say, tell them, Jill, Florida people will grill in the rain.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's
she from Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, she from Florida.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot Armin Brown from down here.
Oh, I thought you was finna say you forgot that y'all grill in the rain.
I mean, I don't know about grilling in the rain. I go out there, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to grill and catch pneumonia, but I be out there though.
Yeah.
Man, that's one place I'm gonna have to try to get to. I've never been to Florida. I'm gonna have to go to Florida.
Yeah, I mean, shit. The weather there. All I can tell you when you get down here, just get you a sweat rag. You know them hand towels. Like
Oh,
you got.
okay, so y'all
Yeah,
got that humidity.
that's the biggest difference. You know what I'm saying? Some
This
people
nigga
don't be
is
ready for that humidity. You know what I'm saying?
this
Right.
nigga is the biggest sweat rag advocate I ever heard. This every time this nigga talk about Florida, he talk about sweat rag. Nigga, you need to start your own sweat rag line, nigga.
Hey, I'm
Put your
trying to
face
tell you.
on them.
Hey, I'm gonna need me a Scumbo Baggins sweat rag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. J1 Pro said, did absolutely nothing yesterday. I feel good now. Just laid up and relaxed and chill. If you advocate sweat rags like that, I have to ask, are you fat?
Nah.
Okay, you know, fat people sweat a lot.
Nah, it is what it is down here, man. It's hot.
So
You know,
y'all just walking around sweating all the time.
yeah, I mean, like, just imagine it's 100 degrees outside, and then it rained, and then it stopped raining. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I see what you're saying. It
it's
kind
like
of
a
got that
sauna.
Georgia heat.
It's worse
Yeah.
than Georgia, cause we down here. It's like tropical.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
Because I
You
could
know,
imagine triple digit weather. I could triple digit heat. That's a norm for us here in Texas. It's always hot.
But it's more drier though,
Yeah,
ain't it?
it's a dry heat. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I've been
it
in that kind of heat. It is
is. It's thick.
uncomfortable.
You know what I'm saying? You come outside, you be in the AC, you come outside, it's so thick, like the air is thick out here. You know, you can scoop it with a cup or something. You know what I mean?
Dang,
Yeah,
that's a little too thick for me.
it get like that. I
I
mean, it be
got
90% humidity and it be 95 degrees.
up in my
Yeah.
age now. I got to have some AC. You know, back when I was younger, I can go out in the heat all day. Wouldn't bother me. I'm out there taking heat like, yeah, this is a challenge. But nah, shit, I have a damn near heat stroke walking from the house to the car in the driveway.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, salute to OG Mike Hennigan in the building, man. What's going down?
Mike Hennigan, what's happening?
What's up, Mike Hennigan? Salute. Armin Brown said it was a great debate with many perspectives. And Big E said Xavier smart as fuck, though.
Yeah.
And he didn't blink. Yeah, I give him that. That young man is smart, and he seemed to be devouring a lot of information about boxing in a short span of time.
Yeah, he came through our live stream yesterday and taught us some shit. He taught us that the only person to knock out Archie Moore in the first round was a dude named Leonard Maru or something like that. I gotta go back and listen to that shit again. Then he told us about Fidel LaBarber. He a motherfucker that beat 2 Hall of Famers in 1 month. He beat Kid Chocolate and he beat Bud Taylor. And the motherfucker won the Olympic gold medal in 1924. He ended up going to Stanford, going to college and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came through and taught us some shit. Last night. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Xavier is a monster.
Right. Armin Brown said, but he was using a lot of statistics from times when he wasn't born, so you can't always say someone is young. The thing with that though, I have found out when I've had a conversation with somebody that was young that did do a lot of reading from that time, their perspective of that time is strictly from how they read it and what they gained from that book. And you have to remind them at points that, hey, I lived it. You know, I literally lived that time, and that book is not giving you a straight, accurate picture of it. So that's what I mean when I say you could read and be young, not dismissing him in any way, because I really appreciate his smarts.
Hey, I just wish I was just prepared to go that direction, because like I touched on some shit that was square business. Like when I said that it was a woman. Well, it was a trans motherfucker that transitioned to a woman and started taking puberty blockers, and she developed osteoporosis at a young age.
Right.
And I really didn't even think I heard about one case, but when I Googled that shit after the live stream, there's a bunch of articles talking about taking puberty blockers can fuck your bones up. I didn't even know this shit was prevalent like that. I wish I would have known that, because I sure would have told his ass to Google it. And then it's another situation. Have y'all ever heard of a UFC fighter named Fallon Fox?
Nah.
I can't say that I have.
It's a trans that beat the shit out like 2 women, and then they later on found out that the motherfucker was trans. And I'm talking about, they said that the motherfucker cracked a woman's skull in the UFC cage. Well, not UFC, but the MMA cage.
Wow.
Yeah,
see, and
so
that's the dangers that I was speaking about having a trans person compete in sports with a true born female. That's crazy, because you can't subside for the muscle strength that is of a man.
Yeah, that's the frame too, man. If it's a man and he done went through puberty and he got them wide shoulders and all that kind of shit, you know how we build as men, man. We got an advantage. And what make me mad is that we can't even speak against it. Like, it could be your sister, your first cousin, go out there and get the shit beat out of them, but you can't say nothing though. That's socially not acceptable for you to say anything, because that might hurt the trans feelings or something, or hurt the community's feelings. I just think that's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. Well, I'm gonna speak on it anyway, because my feelings would be hurt. My damn baby, sister, whoever the female was that went through the situation, they feel it and body is hurt. Fuck what they talking about.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the kind of conversation we was having, Gil Cole. And Josh Brown said, Gil Cole, you got a partner on that scumbo bag and sweat rag? We split down the middle.
That's his new name, huh? Josh Brown.
Josh Brown.
Oh man.
OG will give you a new name in a minute, boy.
Y'all call Joseph, man. I don't know why I looked at that and said Josh.
That's Josh, nigga, from there on.
Man, I just said that so boldly too, didn't I? I get that from my mama. My mama used to do that to people all the time, just change their name. Forgive me, man. Joseph Brown said Gil Cole. But you know what he said? You got to get a partner on that scumbo bag and sweat rag. We split down the middle. I bet he probably was at the crib saying, "Who the fuck is Josh?"
Yeah, that's that old school down south shit. Cause my grandmother used to do that. She used to call me, be like, Kevin Quincy, Montre. Like, I'm talking about, she would call 3-4 names before she called my name. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you know you in trouble when they call you by your whole government name. They say your first, middle, and last name. Come here right now, or motherfucker. Depending on how bad you done messed up.
Man.
Motherfucker, bring your ass down here now. Uh-oh. She must find that pot that I melted all that wax in and heat up under all the clean pots.
Yeah.
So Joseph Brown said, put the blunt down, OG. I can't do it. Won't do it.
Yeah, I got some gas over here too, man. They selling gas at the shops down here now, man.
Say what?
Yeah. I don't want to say too much because I don't want them to get fucked up. But they got some shops down here. They selling gas in that motherfucker down, man. I swear, I put that on my life. I'm not playing.
It was only so long before Texas went on and fell in line.
It's still illegal, but they just said, "Fuck it, man." Shit.
If they doing it, that means it's got to be coming down the pipeline pretty soon. It's got to be.
I don't know. They lying though, because they got it labeled as moon rock. Because they have been selling hemp moon rock, and that's what they said this shit is. But when I got it and I looked at it and I said, man, this don't look like no moon rock. And it had that smell and shit. And then I smoked some, and because I done had the hemp moon rock before. This shit totally different. So I bought an eighth, and I went back and tried to get a quarter. And the dude was like, "Oh, you must like that." And I said, "Yeah, I do, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that's moon rock. That it ain't nothing about that that's moon rock." He said, "But do you like it though?" I said,
What you
that,
talking about?
"Yeah." I said that seemed like some regular gas to me. And he was like, "But do you like it though?" Yeah, hell yeah, I like that shit. Let me get a quarter.
Let's stop all the conversation. Let's go and get what I come here for. I came for some more, but I want to tell you it ain't moon rock, nigga. Fuck all that. Do you like it?
Yeah, I don't know what kind it is, but it smelled like OG. So it's some kind of OG, and it hit like a hybrid. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's some good shit, man.
If I got my hands on some perp, and when I say perp, I mean it is purple. When the sun shines on it, it is literally purple.
Yeah, that's the indica. How you sleep?
Nah, it won't have me sleep. Oh my gosh, I am out of cigars. Is this not Xavier the boxing nerd has shown up? Speak the name and he appears like a Candyman in the mirror. What's up, Xavier?
Not much. I was just on my way home from my fiance's house. I put on a live stream, heard you guys talking about me, but I wanted to join anyways.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah, what's up with you, Xavier? What's going down?
Not much. What was that Matt Walsh guy? I couldn't find that original video, but I did listen to his video despite my complaining.
Well, hold on. That's not the video I wanted you to watch, though. I really wanted you to watch the actual debate on the show.
Well, yeah, I watched him break it down, and unfortunately, I couldn't find the original show, but he himself, in his video breaking it down, cut himself off and said that it was just a lot of the same after a certain point.
Yeah, I did some research about the puberty blockers in the bones. I think that you'll get something out of it if you research that shit. You will see that it's an effect on the bones when you start taking puberty blockers. I wasn't just talking shit. That was square business.
Oh no, I didn't think you were talking shit. I believed it. And when you had said that, I remember I think I said something like I wouldn't put my kids on it, and it shouldn't. If that is as prevalent as you say, which I do trust you, it should be the kind of thing where there needs to be informed consent for the child, and obviously a child can't have informed consent until a certain age, so it really shouldn't be something that people should be put on until they really are old enough to understand.
I think that the motherfucker probably need to go through puberty first. Let the body. I ain't even no advocate for this shit, but if a motherfucker gonna do it, I think that they need to go through puberty first and let their body go through their natural process to be healthy, homeostasis, and then go that direction if that's what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion.
I understand that. But at the end of the day, if somebody's like 16 or 17 and they're old enough to consent, then they should be able to make that choice for themselves, even if it isn't necessarily the best health decision. If that's what they really feel is best, then they should have that choice once they are able to have informed consent.
But
16, 17 though?
Well, that's old enough to consent to sex.
Wait a minute, I got to do this real quick.
I mean,
hold that thought. Ladies and gentlemen, the views and the points that you are hearing tonight are not the views and points of those who run this show. The panelists and its guests all have views of their own. And now back to the program.
Yeah, man.
16 to 17.
I don't agree with the 16, 17.
Are you old enough to have sex and have a child?
No. Oh, whoa. Just because you're old enough to do something don't mean you should do it. And if you're still hold on, let me go ahead and get this out there. If you're 16 to 17 and you stand up under a grown person's house who's taking care of you, who's paying for you, and you don't have a job or anything like that, that's not a choice you should be making.
If they support you and you are able to have informed consent, then I don't see why not. I mean, if they understand the risks involved, that's what informed consent is. You understand the risks involved and what it may mean.
You understand the risk of being put out of your house at 16, but
well,
you don't really know.
The parents are on board too.
You don't really know. See, and that's where you don't really get it. If you're having an informed decision being made, but then you say, well, your parents are involved too, then that's more of their informed decision than yours. When you're making an informed decision, It's your decision. You don't need help making that decision. That's yours. You stand alone on it. And in order to be able to do that, I feel like you have to be a full-fledged grown adult. Quit playing with these children and taking their lives and turning them all upside down. So many times have you heard people say a child should be in a child's place. A child should be able to have a child's life before going into adulthood. Now, all of a sudden, some grown person has decided that a teenager should have the right to make an informed decision about a grown-up choice.
I mean, how far off is 17 from 18, really, though? If their parents are allowing them to have the decision, then they're allowed to say yes or no. I mean, it wouldn't be consent if the parents forced them to do it and they didn't feel comfortable doing it. If the consent would be saying, no, I don't want to do that because the risks aren't what I feel myself.
I'm going to give it to you like this. And this is no way a shot or anything. It's just so you can understand how I am and where I'm coming from. I'm speaking to what many people say the future. There's been a shift between generations. What you know and learn and you speak about, you can only speak about to a certain amount of years. What I speak to you about from the same position, I can speak to you from more years of experience. So you can only look at it and open no matter how much you try to expand your mind and read about it and have your feelings, you're not going to get as full of a grasp that I do. And in about 20 more years, you'll see your understanding about a lot more things will be have a broader stroke to them. What I'm saying is, I just don't see everything that you're speaking on. Somebody grown made the decision for the other stuff to start happening. That's what I'm saying. So a person with an agenda opened this door. No children got together and said, you know what? We all decide that we feel this way and we want this. I haven't seen that protest yet.
I think it's a human element of this too that kind of gets left out. Like, I don't know how true this is, but I was watching Piers Morgan one day and they had somebody up there talking, and they talked about this school over there in England. And a lot of the kids started saying that they felt like they was really trans. And it seemed to have started with a small group of kids, and then it expanded from there. And that's one thing about kids, monkey see, monkey do. Like, kids, they follow behind each other. Like, they want to be like the cool kids. So if the cool kids is doing something, they gonna want to do it. And the same thing can be said about adults, man, because some adults don't nobody even care about them. They invisible. But then when they get a chance to be a part of something, they want to take advantage and be a part of something. You know what I'm saying? And I think that shit gets left out. Like, when I was young, it wasn't a lot of people saying that they were trans. And then it seemed like we got like closer to the present now. I see this shit more often. But when I was young, it wasn't even prevalent like that. I ain't hear nobody talking about that shit. It wasn't no big deal. You know what I'm saying?
How many people really could come out and say that without being completely?
But what changed? What made it more acceptable to come out now as opposed to when I was younger? Like, what's the difference?
Somebody grown did it.
Somebody crossed the line, and then we got people like Caitlyn Jenner and shit like that. So like, it brings it more to the forefront. But it wasn't like that when I was young. It wasn't even a big deal. And like we be having these debates about like 1% of the fucking population and shit. You know what I'm saying? They got the power to tell us what we are. Like all of a sudden now I'm cisgender, and I got to just deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just crazy to me.
I'm not gonna call you that because you said you didn't want to be.
But that's you though, bro. I'm talking about the overall.
Well,
you know
yeah, but I mean, have you ever looked up the definition of cis?
I just don't like how it sounds. It sounds too much like sissy. I don't want to be called no cisgender.
It's a science word. The definition is denoting or relating to a molecular structure in which two particle atoms or groups lie on the same side of a given plane in the molecule. And
okay, I'm gonna ask a question.
But I think that's the word that they use because it's saying two groups sit on the same side, and I know you guys won't agree with me on this, but as time has gone on, people have been saying more so that gender is a social construct and gender is not the same as sex. So when you think about that word in that context, it's two things on the same side, gender and sex.
And that became a definition when.
So the word cis one was the beginning of when was it first used, or are you saying in this context?
In this compass.
I only started hearing it about like my senior year in high school.
Okay, now the reason I asked you that question, because something like that, and it's that important, they would have used this years ago. Everything that comes around is always due to a push. Do we agree that a thing sits stable until something comes from the outside and gives it motion?
Wait, what
That's
was that?
with movements too. You know what I'm saying? Everything takes a push. Trey X asked the question, when did it start being okay for transes to come out? Well, to be honest, I don't know when it's been okay, but trans people on something that's new that's running around. It's just, we had them in the 70s. I seen them. People, some of them were rich. They were entertaining. They were doing their jobs. They were doing the same things they're doing now. The only difference is they weren't pushing the fact that the way they feel or the things they thought or what they wanted to say or how they wanted everybody to act according to them wasn't being pushed on everyone else. It's okay to advocate for someone. I get it. But at the same time of your advocation, don't force me into a box that you're claiming that you're trying to get out of.
What do you mean by that? Force you into a box?
By saying that I have to call you a trans person or a person that I identify with being this. I have to identify with you just because you identify with that?
Well, I mean, why do I have to refer to you as he, him? That's how you identify. I do that because that's how you identify, right?
Well, I'm sure that if you look at me, I'm a man.
Exactly. They make this shit sound so complicated when it's simple.
It is simple. It's just what people want to be called.
When you look at a little boy, what makes you say that that's a little boy? When you look at a man, what makes you say that that's a man?
That's been socially ingrained in us. You don't
socially ingrained?
100 years. No, there are a lot of people there have been a lot of times in my life where I've seen people be like, what are they? Like before this trans issue was talked about more, people would wonder what gender people are because some people kind of look like they could be either or, and you don't really know, and then you have to ask, and then they tell you, and then you just go with what they tell you. And if you think somebody goes by he, him, and you say it, and then they correct you, to change it is just to treat them with respect.
Okay, but how about this though? So you mean to tell me that I think that I'm a man because I'm socially constructed to think that? Oh, that's what it sounds like he's saying. Like,
well, that's how you identify, and
that's how I identify. That's what I am.
Has been socially constructed because it's different from society to society. It changes throughout the years too. It's like we look at.
I've never seen a society where they say the men were women and the women were men.
What was that? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I've never seen a society where the men claim to be women and the women claim to be men. What society was that?
Native American society did that. They would have people transitioning.
No, you're missing what I'm saying.
Hold on, let me say it, OG. I understand what you're trying to say. If gender is just a social construct, there should be some societies where what we think of as masculine, they call women, and what we think of as feminine, they call men. That ain't never existed. If it's just a social construct.
But it changes, despite it changes from society to society. What's defined as a man isn't necessarily the same in each society as it is to ours, even to what it was in the 1940s.
Okay, see, that's the books talking, and he's missing the point of what you just said. Things changed, but there was no society like that.
Okay, look, I get what he's saying, but that doesn't disprove the fact that it changes from society to society. Just because people who have penises aren't referred to as women or put in that position in one society doesn't disprove the fact that it is different from society to society.
Okay, we'll let you have the Native Americans, even though I don't agree with that. But give me some more. Give me some more examples. Or is that the only one you got?
Others, I haven't looked into it enough.
Because that's the only one you got. It's bullshit what
Because
you're
that's the
saying, my
only one I
brother.
really heard about, or I haven't looked into it enough. But that doesn't change the fact that it is different from society to
No, it's not, man. A man is a man, man. You trying to tell me, okay, you want to go back to the 40s, so you want to go back to like my grandfather times and stuff like
the
that.
way that they saw a man was different from how.
Hell no, man. A man was a man back in the 40s in the United States. It wasn't no different. Hell, the only thing that's different is that men are getting more feminine these days, and they have done studies that show that men's testosterone has been dropping since the 60s. Now we done got to the point where it's a lot of effeminate men, and they want to be looked at as like they want to come to the forefront and put their feelings on everybody, because that's what it's all about. It's about feelings. It's not nothing objective that we can look at. It's all subjective feelings that we're talking about now. You know what I'm saying? That's bullshit. My grandfather was a man. My father was a man. I'm a man. But now we getting to this point where it's not cool to be a man no more. It's cool to be more feminine and all that kind of stuff. They want the little boys to draw flowers. I saw a story where a kid, he got in trouble for bringing a comic book to school. But it's cool. He can get in trouble for that. But it's cool for little boys to be drawing flowers and all that kind of shit. That's what makes me think it is an agenda, like OG just said.
I'm gonna jump in the chat real quick just to see what the chat is saying. Eric, welcome to the chat, Eric. I didn't see you when you first came in, but what's up, bro? Salute to you. He said, fuck that note. Salute AAB. Sorry, that triggered me. I don't get down with people messing with the kids. Or they talking about what we were speaking about earlier. Eric
we were saying 16, 17. Matt Walsh did an interview. I know he don't like Matt Walsh, but the guy did an interview.
The thing that you're talking about, though.
The man did an interview with a woman, physician, whatever you want to call it. She like a pediatrician type motherfucker. And she was saying that she was approving kids for certain treatments as low as 5 years old.
And like I said, I disagree with that because of the health risks, and the 5-year-old can't consent.
So, I mean, but that's a flaw in the community. We got to say that.
There are faults in all communities. You say the testosterone levels have been lowering, but how many people have stopped beating women? How much more prominent was that in the 40s? Beating your woman just because, and you had the right to do that.
Now, to make an argument on that, because we jump into a different thing. I'm gonna keep it in. I'm gonna keep it in the
But
same
listen what
arena.
he's saying. He basically saying that masculine testosterone energy equates to beating your woman. I ain't never beat a woman before. I'm masculine as a motherfucker. I've never hit a woman.
Because what you were saying is that's a fault in the community that people are doing that, giving 5-year-olds puberty blockers. That's like saying that all these people are crazy people who want to give children drugs. And I was just saying myself that I don't think that's right because they're too young to have informed consent.
And I'm saying if they have doctors in the community that's giving treatment to kids that young, that's a flaw in their ideology. We can agree on that, right? Or you just want to just blanket, just be an advocate for everything?
Give that person, not as a whole. That's just like saying the masculine man has a flaw in the ideology because people like Sugar Ray Robinson beat women.
Okay, but this is the thing though. That doctor wasn't just talking about herself; she was talking about her field.
Wait a minute. If we're going to throw Sugar Ray Robinson out there for beating women, let us also...
Fuck the beating women.
Hold on.
Fuck that, man, because that's changing the topic.
That's what I'm saying. We got to stay in the same arena. We got to stay in the same arena. Bringing Sugar Ray Robinson in it is like bringing...
I had a point locked in, and you just threw me off my square, man. I swear to God.
I'm sorry, bro. But I don't want us to. I want us to stay on the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to stay on that same topic. Damn, you just threw me off, man. But yeah, that's bullshit though. They making this shit overcomplicated. Oh yeah, like I said, the woman was not just talking about herself; she was talking about her field. So it's not just one doctor that's approving kids for these type of treatments. It's a field of these motherfuckers that's doing this shit. And that's what makes me say that's a flaw in their approach to this. Just like I think it's a flaw that they want trans people to participate in sports. Have you ever heard of Fallon Fox?
We were just talking about that, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, look her up when you get a chance. Well, look him up, hell, I should say. Look the motherfucker up. That's a flaw in their ideology. See, but this is a thing, though. This is what pissed me off. A lot of the advocates, they won't even recognize a flaw. You see what I'm saying? They just want to blanket advocate. And then when they get pushed into a corner, they say, well, why do y'all care so much since you ain't trans? And then I'll be thinking to myself, okay, what about all the quote unquote cisgendered advocates? Why don't nobody say, why do they care so much? The only time they say that is when it's somebody with an opposing view. And I think that's bullshit. That's weak.
Well, who are they? Because I was agreeing with you that that's not right to give children puberty blockers.
I'm talking about the advocates that I've listened to on the internet and shit like that. They've been blanket advocates. I would say that you more of a moderate advocate. You ain't all the way to the side because you do recognize the fact that they shouldn't be going against regular women in sports and shit. You recognize that. So I'll say that you closer to a moderate. But it's some people that's not moderate, bro. They way on the other side. And they saying that anything that got something to do with the trans community, you cannot oppose it at all. You have to go with it. You see what I'm saying?
Too, because I listen to a lot of people on the left, and I haven't heard anybody really say that.
Say what?
That you can't criticize anything. I haven't really heard. I've listened to a lot of different opinions, and I can't actually find anybody that says that. Can you give me some?
It's the actions.
Yeah, look at that Piers Morgan shit, man. They were going against this motherfucker. I don't know the guy's name. It was a trans woman.
On the comments.
No, I'm talking about during the interview. There was like a small little debate that Piers Morgan was having with this trans woman, and she was basically advocating for the trans to go against the women in sports, and they were saying there wasn't no scientific data to say that the trans women had an advantage over the regular women, and they wasn't trying to hear nothing to the contrary. You see what I'm saying? Like every time somebody would come back with something, they just shut the shit down. It's right there on the internet, man. I had a little time where I just kind of just started researching this shit, you know what I'm saying? Because it does make me angry. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Like I don't like the shit. So I just kind of got angry, kind of emotional, and I was looking up the shit, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I found. And I think that's bullshit that you can't even come with nothing to the contrary. Or they just shut it down. So like to you, what is a woman to you?
An adult female, and also trans women are women by definition. They identify as women.
So basically, a woman is somebody that says they're a woman, right?
Yeah, that's what they live and identify as a woman. Yeah, and if they live and identify as somebody who is an adult female.
And can't have no kids or none of that shit. That shit don't even matter no more.
There are women that were born with vaginas that can't have kids.
That shit is crazy, man. Like this is just what those.
No, you can't.
No, hold on. Let me just say this. Let me say this.
There are people that are infertile.
Okay, but let me say
this. Women not become a woman when they turn 80.
Okay, this is my thing. Y'all don't seem to understand how ridiculous that sounds to the rest of us. Our whole lives, when we think of a woman, we think of our mama, we think of our grandma, we think of our sister, we think of women that had kids,
their vaginas, and there are women that are born as women that
they are barren,
never have the ability to have kids. Are they not?
So the chromosomes don't matter, huh? XY chromosome, that don't matter.
What is it? Swayer's syndrome. What is that? That is a rare disorder characterized by the failure of the sex glands, testicles, or ovaries to develop.
Okay, what about the chromosomes though? That don't matter.
XY, and they are women. Look them up.
Man, that's bullshit. A woman is.
You don't understand intersex is what you're saying by saying that's bullshit.
It's bullshit because a woman is a woman and a man. Okay, so hold on. So when I be seeing like the paleontologists and stuff or the archaeologists that be digging up all these bones and shit, why they ain't never said what you just said? Why do they always say that this was a woman or this was a man?
You know how many bones have degraded to the point where we don't.
Oh my God!
Hey,
Now-
fellas, I'm
There are
gonna jump off.
You don't
I'm about to jump
understand.
off and go lay down with my wife. And I'm gonna catch the rest. I'm just gonna listen to the rest of the show, fellas. Yeah.
That man said, I'm gonna go jump. Okay, Gil, appreciate you coming through.
Because you
I'll
don't
give you some.
understand intersex.
I want
Because
to hit
all
Almond
you're
Brown's
saying, Trey,
comment.
is that you don't understand what intersex is.
Man, I don't care to know, brother, because the
Then
shit doesn't
why
make
talk
any
about something
sense.
that you don't care to learn about.
Yeah, fuck
Whoa,
that shit. I
here we
care.
go.
I believe in men and women. The way that I've known my
There
entire
are
life.
people
And
who
I
are
will
born
say this,
with
all that LGBT stuff, thank the quote unquote cisgender people, because we the motherfuckers that give y'all the opportunity
That's
to
like
do all
saying
that
thank
shit.
the white people for freeing
Now,
black.
you can say
black
what you
people
want to say.
here.
The only reason that they can do all of that is because all the straight people that have kids. If everybody was LGBT, the damn species wouldn't survive.
I'm gonna just say this part, and then I'm gonna read these comments. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna read Almond Brown's comment
He
first.
don't never say nothing. Tell me that if everybody was LGBT, tell me that the goddamn species would flourish. Tell me that.
Why does that matter?
It matters to
They
me.
exist. They should be allowed to exist. It sounds like you're trying.
I'm not saying they can't exist. I'm saying they should be thankful instead of getting
Do
mad.
you
at
have a
us.
question?
Hold
Do
on,
you
let me
have
say
an
What
this.
answer?
you're
Let me
saying
hold
is
on. Let me say
similar
this.
to saying.
Instead of getting mad at us about the words that we use, be thankful that we got you in this position that you can do what you do. I ain't saying you particularly, I'm just saying
Trey,
they need to be thankful because without us, it wouldn't be nothing.
Trey, just imagine this. Imagine a white person saying these black people should be grateful that they're not slaves because we're the ones who freed them.
No, black
We
people.
actually
No,
don't have to imagine it.
Hold on. Black people don't need white people to exist. LGBT needs straight people to exist.
In
Because
America, they need
all over the
in order
world.
to stop being slaves.
Gay people need straight people to exist. Black people don't need white people to exist. We was here before white people. White people came from us. So
Black
yeah.
people
So
in
hold on. No. White people need to thank black
We're
people because they
enslaved.
came from us. Nigga, it's the other way around. Y'all came
But
from
black
us.
people in America were enslaved, and if it wasn't for the white people that freed them, then they would still be enslaved.
Hey, we ain't gonna change the argument. Like I said,
I'm not changing
the
it.
LGBT could not exist
argument.
without straight people, right or wrong.
You're right, but I don't
Exactly.
see what that
Boom.
has
Thank
to do
you.
with the hatred that
You don't have
No,
to see.
it ain't got nothing about hatred. I'm just
You don't
saying
have to
it
see
is.
why a
you're
fact
just
is
saying
right.
how intersex is bullshit.
Excuse me.
I think it's bullshit.
You don't have to see
You don't
why a
understand.
fact is right. That's kind of the argument you're having right now. And I'm going to say this just to say, you wouldn't have a trans person if somebody didn't make them.
You wouldn't have anybody if somebody
Hold
didn't
on.
have an woman. If somebody,
You would not have a trans person if someone didn't go and physically make them. Now, before you throw out of your mouth and say you wouldn't have anybody if somebody didn't make them, when two humans copulate and that woman egg is fertilized, that baby comes out, whether it's a girl or a boy.
or intersex, which is a real
Whether it's a girl or a boy.
intersex.
Sometimes let me finish. There has been times where someone was born with both sex parts. There have been times that is documented. But what I'm saying is there is someone who is implanting, changing, and doing things in order for these trans people to move around and walk. You're advocating for someone that has been created, and then you're saying they should have laws or rights, which no one has ever taken away their rights, because if they did take away their rights, they wouldn't be able to go through these transformations that they're going through. As a human being, they have the same rights that I have. Whether someone is choosing to impose on those rights, that's that person in them. But at the same time, for you to be asking for things that you pretty much already have, and then you tell me, hey, if you're not going to agree with me and say that I'm a girl, then you have a problem. No, that's not how things should go. And I understand that you're 20 some years old and you're going to look at my judgments and thoughts about it and say, oh, he's just an old fogey. And I'm looking at you saying, dude, you can only know as much as you've lived and you've read. And some of the things you read are not just clear cut black and white like the words on the paper. You have to live some life in order to understand some of these views that you are trying to push and get people to understand wholehearted and willingly.
And then this another thing too, like it's about the intersex. Like I told you, man, I done been to school. God bless my professor, Dr. Morgan. That was my man, A&P. But why didn't he? When we was learning anatomy and physiology, why didn't the intersex stuff come up in the lessons? Why are we just learning about this in the duality?
Are you trying to imply that this is fake science because you
I
didn't?
I think it's bullshit. I think it's new because it wasn't around back when I was in school. So why is it such a big thing now?
Doesn't mean it didn't exist. Just because somebody didn't teach you something in school doesn't mean it didn't exist.
Man, this shit is new.
You don't know that because you haven't done any research on it. You're just calling it bullshit without having an open mind to even look it up. I said what Swire's syndrome, and you hadn't even heard of it before. I can look this up, try to see how long ago the syndrome was discovered or whatever. If you want, I can do that.
How prevalent is it? Like in one in how many one in how many cases does it happen? Like in how many cases does this shit pop up?
Why? So if it's the vast minority, what would that change?
I just asked a question. You coming back with a question? That's bullshit.
What is your motive with asking that?
What is your?
Hey, you know what?
Your business. What my motive is? I just asked you a simple question, but since it was obviously.
Well, I don't feel like I need to answer that question because you don't even believe it's real, and you should do the research yourself if you want to.
Well, here go some questions that everybody should answer. Let's get back to just boxing. Let's let this tour go.
If you want to know that answer, don't ask me. Do the research yourself. I told you about it, and now you know what you can look up about this thing.
See what I just did. That was my little bit of being willing to listen to it, but it's bullshit to me. So I'm not researching a goddamn thing. I'm gonna stay in reality. That's where I'm gonna stay.
This is reality.
That shit ain't no real. That's your reality. That's y'all new school reality. I'm from the old school. We don't believe in that bullshit. We believe in men and women. We believe in chromosomes around this motherfucker. X, Y, X, X. That's what we believe
know
in.
nothing about it.
That's all right. I don't need to know nothing about it. Fuck that shit. That shit is stupid. I don't need to know nothing
about it. You won't.
King Kong Ortiz lost to Andy Ruiz in the unanimous
That shit
decision.
is dumb as fuck.
You can't
Makes no sense.
You don't know it. You don't understand.
Making up some bullshit to justify that bullshit that's going on. That's all it is.
You don't know what it is. You just don't. You're angry at it for whatever reason, but you don't know what it is. You said that yourself. What is that?
I don't give a fuck what it is. I know what a man. I know what a man and a woman is.
You really don't.
I know what a man and a woman is.
If you care about it, you do the research. But if you don't care about it, why talk about it?
You the one that brought the shit up. I said
and then you said you don't care.
You the one that brought the shit up. I said that a man and a woman are chromosome XY, and then you come in with a third set.
Ask me what it is.
Okay, since we agree that he don't care about it, let's not talk about it. Let's just let it blow in the wind like smoke when you blow a blunt.
Yeah, that's funny.
And just have us a conversation about boxing. Would anybody like to start? First, let's woosah together.
I'll say this.
If it's about boxing.
I respect you, Trey. I'm not trying to get in arguments with you. And I'm sorry if you feel like I offended you. It wasn't my intention.
I ain't gonna even lie, man. I'm not in a kumbaya little mood. I don't know why they sit there just struck a nerve with me like that, but yeah, I'm not feeling that. I ain't gonna even lie. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even count. But you know, it is what it is. Like I said, man, it's a separation of the old school and the new school, man. Like where I come from, we just not gonna be getting into that kind of shit like that. Like why it's men and women, like damn, like I ain't never met a person like that.
That doesn't mean they don't exist.
Have you?
No, it doesn't mean
Do
they don't
you know
exist.
somebody that met somebody like that?
It doesn't mean they don't exist.
Okay,
And
I need to
know about
give me an example then. Who name a person that's like that I can look up.
Yeah, I'll find it. I just found a video recently.
Okay, give me the video. Now I look this motherfucker. I want to see what a hybrid man and woman look like.
Where is
That shit sound crazy, don't it? A hybrid man and woman. This motherfucker's a hybrid, nigga.
I found
They say it turned into a boxing channel for boxing discussion.
those links in the public chat.
This nigga said we got hybrids.
Yeah.
And I'm crazy because I'm crazy because I think it's absurd that we got hybrid humans. That's a combination of a man and a woman.
The human race is very complex. There's a lot.
That shit ain't complex, man. We got men and women. It's simple.
And
Very
the
simple.
crazy thing is, at the end of the day, it is for a lot of people. And this intersex thing that I'm talking about, this person that I put in the private chat is clearly a woman. I think she identifies as a woman too, but she technically has XY chromosomes because of a birth defect or whatever you want to call it. She has a syndrome.
And what's it called?
Swyer's syndrome. And there are other intersex syndromes. This isn't the only one.
Well, let's let this be the only one we learn about tonight.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
People, because that's just something that people don't talk about.
Yeah,
And
let's get back to people punching each other in the face.
what about this fight on my profile? You guys know that those fighters?
I wear glasses because I'm 50 in my 50s, finna be 52. So you're gonna have to tell me because it's small on my screen. I can't tell you what it is, but I see an up jab for sure.
Yeah, that's Jimmy McLarnin on the right doing that up jab against Barney Ross in their second fight.
Okay, so I just looked up what you're talking about, and to me, all it sounds like is a feminine looking male. Like
they have like female parts. That's how they were born.
I'm reading. It said a rare genetic condition in which people who have an X and a Y chromosome, the usual pattern for males, look female.
Yeah. But you should watch this video because this person explains that they have it, and you can see with your own eyes a person instead of just this is just book. When you just read it, it's just books. But when you see this person that actually has it, you'll realize like I actually don't know if I've ever met anybody with Swyer syndrome because that's not the kind of thing people just talk about. You know, nobody's going to be saying to like their friend and whatever that they have this. So you don't actually know who you may have known that has this or who you may have seen on the street. For all we know, that either of us could have passed this person on the street in whatever town or city we live in.
Well, I still think one of the main things is that the shit is rare. So it's still not enough to change.
It's not as rare as you'd think from what I was reading and listening to person who has it and people who study it talk about. It's not just fake science. It is real. People have to go to doctors and stuff.
Okay, so what they got to do with all the other trans people? So all the trans people got Swyer syndrome.
It shows that these people and their identities is valid, and it's not purely defined off of their chromosomes.
Well, no, okay, but this my thing. This my thing though. This my thing though. If all these trans motherfuckers, let's say this shit is valid. Let's say if the trans people had this, I think that would be more understandable, I guess I could say, but these motherfuckers are just regular ass XY chromosome men changing into women.
That's not really the case, though. You should watch that video I sent you.
What you mean is not the case? So you mean to tell me that majority of the trans people out here, they ain't just regular chromosome people?
I thought you were talking about Swyer syndrome. Sorry, I got.
Yeah, I'm talking about trans people. So majority of trans people, would you agree they are regular chromosome people?
I have no idea because there are trans people that transition into men and who transition into women.
I said regular chromosomes that match the sex.
Well, my
this
point
XX
is-
or XY.
My point is, a regular trans person could be somebody who looks how we consider a woman, but is identifying as a man, and that person could have Swyer syndrome. I actually have no clue what it is because people aren't doing genetic testing.
I'm willing to bet my money. I'm willing to bet my money that majority of them don't have that shit.
Well, there's no
majority of them have regular chromosomes.
It is true that the
Wait a minute. I got a question. Because I just noticed the pattern. I just noticed the pattern in this debate. And I noticed something. It's a little trick that's being used. I noticed that you said, my point is, after Trey asked the question, you said, my point is, and you proceeded to go through with your point about what it is that you're trying to explain.
I felt like
you just glazed over his question.
I'm sorry.
That's that right there.
But I
goes
felt
back. Wait a minute, let me finish. I'm just breaking something down for you real quick on what I'm noticing by listening. That what you just did is the same thing that when they have the debates for trans and things like that, when Trey was talking about people just shutting down what someone bring up, that's how they do it. The way you just done is the way they do it. Not saying that you did it on purpose, but I'm just saying that example of what just took place is what he was talking about.
I answered the question though.
No, you proceeded to say, my point is, and then you kept going. Because you ended with speaking about the syndrome again. And he asked you about the trans people.
Who have that syndrome. That was what the question was about. It was, do the majority of those people have this syndrome, do you think? And I ended what I was saying with saying no, because the majority of people don't have it. So I'm sorry if you didn't like the way I started my answer, but I did answer it at the end. I'm not trying to avoid any questions.
Let me see. Xavier, I salute your boxing knowledge, but the transgender stuff is some bull. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's coming from Mike Hennings. And I have to get into the chat because they chat. They say, Eric, I love my family. This show is the shit. I hope that's in a good way. Mike Henry, simple math, 1 + 1 is 2, 1 man and 1 woman, yada yada. Joseph Brown, I didn't say Josh. Bro, here's the crazy part that every time I go to an orientation for my kids, I gotta ask them if they teach you this transgender stuff, because I don't want my kids to deal with that. That's a great point. Coming from a father with his children.
How can we not deal with it if these people are going to be in our lives? Are we just going to pretend like they don't exist?
They've always been in our lives.
Yeah, but when he says not deal
but they've always been in our lives. It's just that now they want everybody to know that they're here. Now all of a sudden Susie wants me to know that she wants to be Jimmy. John wants me to know that he wants to be Suzanne. I don't give a damn who you want to be. You are already here. You know, me looking past all of the show and dance and the argument for whatever sake, it all comes down to you want to be seen. Okay, we see you. There's no argument about that. You want to be special. Okay, you're special. There's no argument about that. I'm not saying that they can't go to the bathroom or they can't do this. What I am saying, if you transition from a so-called man to a so-called woman, I don't want you getting in the ring to box with a woman. I don't care about the other stuff you do. Suck a dick, take it up the ass. I don't really give a damn. But you don't have to make me know it. And that's what this argument is. That's what these movements are. These movements are to make me know it. I don't care.
So, say you know somebody whose name is John, and then they transition. Them telling you that they changed their name.
I don't care. You're still here. I still
Yeah.
got the same situations and
I-
problems.
I-
You just moved yourself into some problems that nobody's really giving you. If you turn into Susan, okay, so what? You Susan. But I know up under all that masquerade, you still John.
Well, couldn't that be similar to saying that? Well, I know your name's Muhammad Ali, but under all that, you were born into a Christian family, and your name
And
is.
his mama and daddy might felt that way. So
Is that
what you're asking right there is minute to the situation. It's a minute wrinkle.
similarity, and I only ask it because I'm curious on what you feel. Because, like you said, his parents may have felt that way. At the end of the day, you're still Cassius Clay. Is how they could have felt.
That's right. And
But-
nobody can sue them or have a problem with that with them. No one.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I got a
hear.
Go ahead.
I got a quick question. Does it matter to you if we look at things the way that you look at it or not?
No. No, you have your own perspective. I'm not going to try to change. Like I'm trying to help, like, inform you guys on different perspectives, but I'm not trying to make you guys think exactly how I think.
Well, understand though. That's why I say that you probably more moderate, because a lot of people come across like it really does matter to them that we look at this shit the way that they look at it. And that's where a lot of the debate come from. Because some people are just like, hey man, I'm gonna do what I do and I'm just gonna move on with it. And that bothers them. Like, no, you need to get on board with this and you need to use the words and pronouns, whatever that we want you to use. And that's what that is. And it's gonna be a problem until you are doing what we think you should be doing.
Well, people that feel that way are just as offended as people like Muhammad Ali was when people kept calling him Clay and putting that in the newspaper.
I think that's different though. I mean, if you called him a woman or some shit because you felt like he was a woman, do you think he'll have a problem with that?
Yeah, because he didn't identify as a woman.
Because he's clearly a man. Like when you look at him, you don't think, well, this could be a woman. You look at him and think that's a man, right? Like, have you ever looked at Ali or somebody like that and thought that might be a woman? Has that ever crossed your mind?
No. And a lot of people that are transgender transgender women don't look as masculine as Muhammad Ali for the most part. I mean, there is always an exception to the rule, like we were talking about last night in boxing.
I got a good one
my
for
point
you.
is, it's like it's characteristics.
Be identified. Why does it matter to call them the opposite of what they want to be called? Why is that important to remind them how they were originally? It's like saying it is similar to calling Muhammad Ali Cassius Clay because that's how he identified. He never legally changed his name. I mean, at the end of the day, factually, his name was Cassius Clay until he died. That's facts if you look at it from that perspective. But he wasn't. He was Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, see, but that's the thing though. Like it's not just about a name. Like they basically telling us this chair is now a table and you need to call this chair a table. That's the way we looking at this shit.
If you're
We looking at it as what it is.
Use it as a chair, then how is it not a chair if that's the only way you use a small table?
I got a good one for you. And this is a fact, and this is true. Everybody, I can't even think. Remember the white lady who was part of I think the NAACP? She was like the head part of one of those chapters.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
She identified as what? Black, right?
Yeah.
And she did things to make herself look darker and everything like that. Well, when the world found out that she was a white woman, and they found out that her mom and dad were white women, do you think the people that advocate for who you identify as came to her rescue? They did not.
And if she identifies as a black woman, should we call her a black woman, even though she's clearly not?
If it's not clear, though, it's not clear. And it wasn't clear, as you were just saying, from what you were just saying.
Yeah, but it's been proven that she's not black, though. She come from white parents, but she still identifies as black. So should we still continue to identify with her as being black and call her black, even though she come from white parents? That's how she identifies, though. So should we call her black?
I'm feeling very conflicted on this.
Mm.
Ways.
See,
Well,
one
fuck
of
it,
the
I'm white
reasons to
then.
bring
I'm white.
the
Fuck
reasons
it.
to bring
I'm
it up.
white. I'm
One of
white
the
then.
reasons to
Shit.
bring it up would be to help you be conflicted a little bit, to make you think about it. Because though she claims to, identify as being black, she's never lived a black experience in her life.
And I think that's where the conflict is coming from, and that's why it's what's the word? Shit. It's such an easy word, and I'm missing it right now. That's why it's problematic. Why is it problematic? Because of the way Black people have been treated in our society. And when you put that onto people who identify as a different gender, is that problematic?
It's the same thing, because
But is it
if
problematic?
you've been a man, and you this gender thing, what day have you ever spent as a woman? Same question, same situation,
What
just different problems.
socially, or are you talking physically?
I'm talking. Even if you can't even have an emotional connect, you can't even go emotional with me on this one. This one could be physical or emotional. As a man, even though you're talking about getting, to turning trans, have you ever experienced a woman's part of life? No, you haven't.
Well, how can you really say that? Because
you wait. Let's not be foolish. Let's not be foolish. Let's not be foolish. If you can say this, you can conflict it that this woman has never had a black experience, and your reasoning is because the way black people has been treated. I'm not going to just let that be. I'm gonna just let that be. But the same thing is, a man hasn't been through what a woman has been through. And you can't say that because, women have been treated a certain way. They've been burned at the stake for being witches.
And
they've been used as sex objects. Hold on, let me just go through it.
I don't want to have
let me just go through it. Let me just go through it. Because, like I said, your avocation is noble, and I appreciate it. And, I like to debate. I like to see how I stand up against the younger generation on their way of thinking, because like I said earlier, you guys have a different way of thinking, and I'm going to blame it on, one, the lack of being allotted on this earth a period of time, and also the things that you are reading. You choose to read a certain thing, about a certain thing. Yeah, you're going to know about some of the arguments from the other side, but the arguments that appeal to you, and the important word is that appeal to you, are the arguments and the statues that you're going to raise. The arguments that appeal to other people are their arguments and their appeals. So this argument that's being had is going to last forever, because you're not going to change certain people's minds, because they don't want to be changed, because they don't want to go against, as they figure, the natural order of things. And for some people on the gender side, there is no natural order of things. Chaos is the natural order of things. And I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying that that's the way things are going to be broken down. You're going to always find a way to make it seem like your point is valid. And I'm going to always, because I believe in asking why, going to ask why and have a point for the way my point of view is valid.
I got a question. If I want to identify as a Caucasian male, will you respect me and call me a Caucasian male because that's how I identify?
If it's genuine, I would respect you, but
see how many times there's an add on to it?
Well, because the reason that he's saying that,
because you're saying if it's genuine, why does it have to be genuine? Why do you have to make that decision? All he asked is if he decides to identify a certain way, can he? So now you're going to take it and say, is this real or is this not real? Because if it's not real, then I don't have to identify.
Well, the reason why I say
that's the same thing we're saying. But only we're saying, is this real? Is this not real? Because you went and got yourself a sex operation. Do I have to say that you a girl?
That's another point.
That's not respectful. Is the whole point. And the reason why the only reason why I brought up the genuine is because of our previous relationship, me and Trey X. Had I just met him and he wanted to be called that way and called a Caucasian, I would actually respect it. I'd be.
But he might have woke up today and had a change of heart, just like some transgenders.
That's-
So
Yeah,
because he woke up today and decided to have a change of heart, it's going to be hard for you to respect that? That's not fair.
It's not just a change of
That
heart.
is not fair. That is not fair in the way you're thinking. And you should be honest and open. And if he decides to wake up today and decides that he wants to be a white man, then you should respect it. And if tomorrow he decides to wake up and say, you know, I'm a Filipino, you should respect that. It shouldn't matter if to you if it's genuine or not. What should matter is if it's genuine to him or not. And who are you to say that it's not?
I'll put it this way: I wouldn't go out of my way to disrespect him for feeling that way. But at the end of the day, I don't talk about Trey X's race, so it wouldn't actually.
We not at that part of the day. We just at the part of the day of what I just laid out on the table.
But
Let's stay eating on the potatoes and the meat right now. And the meat and potatoes right now, I really don't care about what goes on after what I'm saying. I just want to know about the part that I said. Do we respect the fact that if he wakes up today and say he's a white Caucasian male, that we're going to respect that? We're not going to ask if he's genuine about it. We're not going to ask why he decided to think it. We're just going to respect him and say, you know what, Trey's a Caucasian today.
I wouldn't disrespect it, but
that's not the question.
That comes up in my natural language talking to him. Like, for example,
that's not the question.
I refer to him as him. But
that's not the question. If he says he wants to be addressed as Trey, the Caucasian male, that's what you would have to do.
Not necessarily because
because in his mind, not my mind or yours, in his mind, this is what he is. And now you're saying not necessarily. You don't have to address him that way if that's how he chooses to be addressed. You're not going to be fair.
And
we have to be fair here on MZ Talks Boxing. And in this situation right here, I'm asking for fair.
Oh, let me chime in. Because to me, it sounds like he's saying he done known me to be a black man. I never said anything like this. So he would kind of question why I'm doing this, but at the same time, he wouldn't disrespect me. That's what it sounds like he's saying. So, like, let's say I got a friend. We've been boys all our life. One time we playing basketball, we fighting and shit, knocking motherfuckers out. We chasing the girls and shit, running women. Then all of a sudden one day he want to change his sex. And then he wants me to call him a she instead of he. I would have the same reaction that Xavier is saying. Like, well, not exactly the same, but what I'm saying is I would be like, is this genuine? Like I've not known you to be this my whole life, and now all of a sudden you decide that you want to be a woman, and I got to start calling you she and shit. It's really the same situation.
That's what they asking.
What would you do? Would you actually do that? Would you refer to them as she? And
no, that's why I said it's not. I don't look at it exactly the same because I wouldn't. You saying that you would respect me and you would call me a Caucasian male, but you still would question the legitimacy of it. I'm saying I will question the legitimacy of it, but I wouldn't call them a she. That's the difference. But we're both still questioning the legitimacy of it. And then this another thing too.
For questioning it though, because my reason for questioning is based off of your arguments that you've made in our relationship as whatever you want to call this. I don't know if you consider me to be a friend or whatever. I don't care, but that's different from, say, your relationship with that guy, how you described it, like going after girls, messing, like just fucking around, like fighting and shit. But if he was talking about transgendered issues, like man is man, there's only one way, facts, and all that stuff, would your questioning be around the fact that it almost seems like he's using that as a weapon to discredit other people who feel that genuinely, or the opposite, or the other option, which would be, is that actually how he feels, or has he had a change of heart? I just question if we have the same approach.
No, we don't have the same approach. That's why I said I don't look at it exactly the way that you do, but we still questioning though. You're questioning me because of my views on transgender, and I'm questioning my friend because of the relationship we had and the shit that we've done, the shit that we've talked about. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? But it's still questioning. And then it's another thing too, like when we talk about the transgender, This is another thing. When
No.
we talk about the transgender, we kind of lump them all in the same, like assuming that them motherfuckers are getting surgeries and doing all this shit. What about the people that don't go all the way through with it and keep a dick? I'm supposed to still look at that as a woman, even though it's walking around with a dick.
Well, why are you seeing their dick? I don't understand that part.
No, but I'm just saying that they exist though.
Yeah, but you don't know what people's genitals look
No,
like.
I don't know, but I'm saying they still exist though. Like,
Yeah.
what if it's a slip up? What if I'm walking up the bleachers at a stadium or something at a football game and it's a motherfucker sitting up there with their legs open and ain't got no drawers on? I see some nuts fall up under there.
I'm sorry.
Shit happens. I'm just saying these people exist.
It's really funny.
So we supposed to look at them all the same. Like you ain't like if you feel like a woman, why would you want a dick?
Well,
If you feel like a woman, cut that
Why would you
motherfucker off. Go all in. I respect you more if you go all in. Cut your dick.
Oh my gosh.
so
Boy,
much.
you got my side hurting right now.
I just want to ask Trey, if there's some, I didn't hear the whole scenario because it was so ridiculous, but say whatever scenario where you see their genitals and you see a penis, why is that really so prevalent on your mind, their genitals, that you have to look at them a completely different way?
My reasoning in my mind. This is my reasoning. If you
Relationship that you had with that guy. So if you had met somebody who was already transgender, why does that change once you see their genitals even accidentally?
because it makes me question it. Just like you said, you would question my race. It
But-
makes me question. Hold on, let me finish. Damn, I can't finish what I'm saying, brother.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just saying it makes me question. Like how much do you feel like you're a woman if you still want to keep a dick? That's what I'm saying. Like you said, you would question the legitimacy of me wanting to change my race. I'm questioning the legitimacy of them wanting to change their gender if they still want to keep a dick.
Okay, I respect that and I understand that. But now my question goes to, in that hypothetical where you know this person who is transgender, but you never met them before they were transgender and you saw their penis, does that change the way that you address them to their face with the previously established relationship you had where they were always a female?
I would say this. I ain't gonna feel like I'm not gonna like this shit regardless. But if you go all the way through it and cut your dick off, and we all know that you done had surgery, I might give you a pronoun. But if you gonna keep a dick, I'm questioning your commitment to this. Like how much do you really feel like you're a woman if you still want to keep your penis? Cut that motherfucker off and go all in if that's what it is. And that's what make me question a lot of them. Because them motherfuckers ain't all going through with their surgery like that, man. They taking them hormones and they keeping that dick. You
can't afford it. It's expensive.
Man, if it's a will, it's a way. Get that motherfucker cut off, go all in.
You want to just stop being homeless, you'll figure out a way to have a home.
I ain't hear you. What'd you say?
No, saying if there's a will, there's a way is like saying if all these homeless people just wanted to not be homeless, they just would not be homeless because they pull themselves up by their bootstraps, which is a term that was initially meant to mean something that was physically impossible because it is physically impossible to do so. But they would just figure out a way to do it. Then we wouldn't have so many homeless people. Do these people really want to be homeless, or do they really want to have homes?
If it ain't nothing wrong with them and they can stand out on a corner and panhandle, they can get a job.
Hey, but this is the thing. Do some of them pull themselves up by their bootstrap?
Technically, no, because that was a phrase invented to describe something that was human.
I'm just saying as a figure of speech. Or I'll say this. Do some people do some homeless people get themselves out of their situation through their will? Does that happen?
They do.
And some don't, despite using all of their effort.
Well, that's the luck of the
Some
draw.
of them still do though.
So does that discredit the people who put in all of their effort and didn't?
And then at the same time, that goes off into the socioeconomics and shit because all poverty ain't the same. You got situational poverty and you got generational poverty. So some people, they going to be able to maneuver depending on what type of situation that they in. Some people grew up with fucked up mentalities. Even if they got a job, they still going to be impoverished and shit because they don't have the right mentality. And some people just had a hard, like something bad happened to them. And that put them in situational poverty, and those type of people are able to elevate most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as simple as saying that someone is homeless. Like, what's the reason that they're homeless? Is it something that's ingrained in their family, or is it something that just happened to them and that's why they fucked up?
Or could they have come out as gay to their
No, because the people I know that used to be homeless and found cribs, they wasn't gay. So we're not going to add that part to this
Well,
situation.
that's a real thing that people become homeless over.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about at this point. We didn't ask about the gay people. We just asked about the homeless people and putting their bootstraps up. It don't matter if they gay or not. A homeless motherfucker is a homeless motherfucker.
About reasons why people become homeless. That is a reason
Well,
why people become homeless. Why can't I bring that
but
up?
that's a very small reason.
Well, there are other small reasons.
Right, but like I said, you know, we advocated, and like I did state earlier, when you're advocating for something, you do find a way
I
to
only
make that point for it.
conversation. Had this been a conversation about capitalism versus socialism, I wouldn't have brought that up. Because I wouldn't have seen the point.
Right, well, the point is, a homeless person, if they're able, physically able, mentally able to get a job, if they can panhandle, they can work. And yes, since, you know, the phrase was made as an impossible thing to do, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, everybody pretty much knows what it means. And yes, they do use it, and people do say, I pulled myself up by the bootstraps and got myself out of a situation. I do know people that was homeless that pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and got themselves out of their situations. It didn't matter if they were black or white,
Well, yeah.
or gay or whatever. They did what they needed to do.
Yeah, and that's pertaining to the original conversation of the people who get their get the gender assigning surgeries. You could say there are people who get that surgery, just as there are people who are homeless and that get out of homeless situations.
No, that's not the same, because when you get the surgery, you make a plan to get the surgery. You don't make a plan to get homeless. You make a plan to get the surgery. You go to the doctors. You find out how much it's going to cost. You figure all this stuff out. Yeah, but then what person jumps into a situation and say, you know what, I'm gonna get all this done, but I'm gonna stop right here. Like, I understand what Trey's saying. It leads me to wonder, how in are you all in on this? Since you want to be identified at this and this and certain things, why not go all the way through with it? I don't want to hear about maybe they didn't have the money, because you just heard me say you don't just jump into a hospital room and say we're gonna go all the way, and once you run out of money, we stop. You know what you're doing.
The surgery is much more expensive than the medication.
Hold on. Let me say this though. It's not a complete dichotomy too. Like it's the haves and the have-nots. Believe it or not, there's some people that have the money to afford the surgery, but they still won't get it because they want to keep their dick. And at the same time, when it comes to homeless people, it's some homeless people that you can give $10,000 to, and they'll still be homeless because they prefer what's out there with the homeless shit as far as the drugs and the lifestyle that they live. They rather stay out there. I done seen some people try to go save homeless people like they family members, and them motherfuckers prefer to be out there. So it's not a straight dichotomy, man. It's not as simple as that. Some people have the means, but they still prefer where they're at. So it's still some trans people that have the money and they prefer not to get the surgery. Those people exist too. So I think I question them people. So what about the people that can afford it, don't get it? I don't have the right to question them.
No, I'm not saying you don't have the right. Of course you have the right to question, and you can have the right to question anything. My only question is, how would you, does that really change the way that you talk about them and show them basic human respect? Because, have you ever heard of Blair White?
No.
It's a trans woman. She's very on the conservative side of politics. I don't know if she got the surgery or not. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. At the end of the day, when you look at that person, there's no way you're gonna initially think to refer to them as he.
But what I'm saying, if the information is there, like let's say they told me, let's say a trans person told me, hey man, I got the surgery and everything. It is gonna register into my mind, hey man, that motherfucker for real. He really think he a woman. He done went and got his dick cut off. I might call the motherfucker a she, man. I gotta respect that. You done went all the way through with that shit and got your dick cut off. I can respect that more than somebody that say I'm a woman, called me a she, but you still keep your dick and don't even want to get the surgery.
By the end of the day, the whole point is that you don't really know who does and doesn't.
I said assuming that they told me.
Well,
That's the conversation that we're having.
why are you assuming that every transgender woman is going to tell you?
This is for this conversation. In this example, hypothetical, if someone told me and the information was there, I would know. I understand every situation is not going to be like that. But I'm saying if I did have that information, I might look at the motherfucker different because you done went all in. Like,
Yeah.
how can I question you and you done cut your whole dick off? I got to think that you believe you a woman.
But like I said, I'm not giving you any shit for your way of thinking. My only point at the end of all this is that we should ideally refer to people as how they want to be referred to, because they should have the same respect as you and I.
And I should be able to be a Caucasian male, call me a Caucasian male, and give me the same rights as a Caucasian male too. When the police see,
I can't give you rights. I'm not the United States government.
not necessarily the rights, but I'm saying, look at me, like, give me the benefit of the doubt. If I'm posted up in Starbucks and shit and I'm waiting on somebody, don't arrest me. I'm a Caucasian male, just like the rest of y'all.
Police officer, I'm not going to arrest you regardless.
I'm not
Okay,
talking
I got a
about you. I'm
question.
talking about
I
society.
got a question. If you're not the government, and you say that I can't give you no rights or nothing like that, but you sure fighting real hard for the rights of transgenders right now.
I'm fighting for respect.
Okay, so same thing, because most of the things you're saying is about the laws. People respect them already.
What laws have I brought up?
Who doesn't respect the transgender race? Who doesn't respect it?
It's not a race, first off.
Exactly.
And people that don't respect it are the people that refer to like transgender women.
And this bothers you. Does that same respect for them bother you that doesn't go to other humans?
I'm sorry. Can you say that maybe?
That same respect that you feel like they should get, do you feel like other humans should get that same respect too?
Yes.
But yes. Do you make the same argument for those other humans as hard as you're making this argument for the trans?
What other humans? Because there are many.
Any other humans that are being mistreated and broken down?
Well, I make a point to focus on those who are in the current.
Oh, they got to be currently suffering, not long term.
No. My point is the people that are currently having the least amount of people on their side is my point. Like, I do speak up for Black people. I try to. I'm not perfect, and I'm not trying to say that just to like say, oh, look, I'm good. I'm a white guy that. I'm not saying that. My point is I don't really speak up on it as much because I see how many people already do, and
how many
do my
people
best to do my part. I don't try to discriminate, but I don't. It's not like it's not like it's 1960 or 1970 or like.
Because it's just like about like 50 years down the line. That plight isn't that bad now.
I'm sorry. What was that?
The thing that I know I have to deal with you because you're going to always have to go back to dates because you can't. That's all you have. And I'm like, that was just 50 years ago. Hold on. That was just 50 years ago. There's been trans around longer than 50 years. Now that the trans are making noise, let's help the trans out. Other groups, Blacks, some Jews, Italians, other groups have had plights. Now the Italians have been helped, the Jews have been helped.
And Irish too. I mean, they were extremely disrespected. And they were seen in the same light as Black people in the 1800s.
That's a good thing there. Now you say they were extremely disrespected and they were seen in the same light as Black people. Wow.
What I've researched.
What you researched. What you researched. Now, hold on. Because, to an audience of Black people, that's disrespectful just to make that statement in that breath. Because you said they were extremely disrespected and they were treated like Black people.
Wow. I only say that because of the way
because what you read.
And what I've seen, the pictures of people of.
Because what you've read.
No Blacks, no Irish.
Because what you've read.
Exactly.
And when we get to that point right there, that's why I always say a young scholar talking to someone who has lived it, those words that you let dominate your thought pattern and the words that come out of your mouth sometimes sting on a level that you will never understand. And you will have a hard time comprehending because your eyes have not beheld that in a living form.
Can I take a tangent to address a comment?
Sure.
Gil Coles. I know that was a very the example I made about white people allowing freedom from slavery was a very that was like that was a statement I wasn't not wanting to bring up because it's very different. It's extremely different because transgender people weren't slaves. I only brought it up because I felt like it would be a good.
Why weren't transgender people slaves? It might have been some slaves that identified.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I was thinking that, but I wasn't about to say that because I'm trying to address just this one specific.
Go for it.
Because like they didn't even have the right to exist. Like wasn't my point. I'm trying to focus on just. I know that comment I made was kind of. It could be seen as iffy to some people. I was only bringing it up to try to shed a different perspective, to have empathy in a different way of, and just think of it from a more extreme example, that has comparisons but isn't as extreme.
But understand this though, Xavier. As Black people, we feel disrespected when y'all do that. Like when people take the plight of transgender and the LGBT community and they try to compare it to Black people in slavery, we feel immensely disrespected when they happen. But no one seems to care because they use that as an example from time to time. I couldn't think of a better
example. I'm really
that's your problem. You got to come up with one. We don't have to be disrespected until you find a better example.
I wasn't trying to disrespect you.
It don't matter what you're trying to do. That's what you did.
I couldn't think of a better example.
Well, we don't like that shit, and it's been going on for a long time. You're not the first or the only person to do that. A lot of people do that.
Why
we don't
I
like
want to bring it up. But I couldn't think of a better because I was trying every way I could to use a different way, but it didn't feel like it was getting through to you.
At the end of the day, you disrespected us. You disrespected us, bro. You did exactly what you said you don't want us to do. You don't want us to disrespect people, and you disrespected us.
Well, how can I make it up to you?
It ain't about that. It's about what happened. Yeah, it's about what happened. That's why they saying what they said in the chat.
I want to know if you understand my point when I made that.
What I would like to say, if you're so intent on making sure that we got your point, listen now. Take yourself out the textbook and just listen. You made a mistake. A person has let you know, not once, but two things you've said is kind of some throwed off stuff to make your point. And after being made aware that what you said is iffy and shaky, your last statement is, I'm just trying to get my point. Not the fact that, damn, I did say something fucked up. You're still trying to make sure that your point is reached and gotten across. The point that we've made is glossed over. Because like I said, you and I'm not faulting you because it's not your fault.
I just want to
know
I can do better. How do you feel like I can improve on this?
No, see, you can improve by making yourself as aware of you are about transgender plights. Make yourself that aware about plights of people who've been going through it before you knew about a transgender plight.
And also
those plights have been going on, as you like to say, America, you use the dates, go back to 1800, go back to 1700. Don't tell me about the Indians, because you knew about, you even had something about Indians going through transgender things. But you're not adept enough on a Black plight to know not to say a certain thing or use their plight as an example.
And this is what I was going to say. In the quest for fighting for respect for a certain group, other groups are feeling disrespected. Like we fighting for transgender rights, but at the same time, I got to listen to myself be called cisgender. And at the same time,
I'm not
when you make well, not you, but I'm saying a lot of people do, bro. Like not just you, it's a lot of advocates and stuff for this. And they say cisgender a lot, and we don't like it. And then at the same time, when they try to make comparisons about the plights of the communities, they love to latch on the LGBT to the black community. I've heard that time and time again, and we feel disrespected when this happens. But that's not as important. What's more important is the respect that the transgender people get. If we get disrespected in the process, we just a casualty of war. And we don't think that's right.
I'm sorry. I did not think that through.
Well, this is my thing. It's not just you. My thing is it's a flaw in their approach. Like when it comes to activists and advocates for transgender, I think that's a flaw. Stop comparing that shit to black people in slavery. We don't want to hear that shit. And stop inventing new words for us. I'm a man.
I'm not inventing words.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the community.
Okay, well,
like, are you the person that started calling people cisgender? Did you start that? No, you didn't. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the community.
Always change. Language is always evolving. There's nothing.
Well, one thing that hasn't evolved. That's the way black people's plight is used. That hasn't evolved. It's always been compared to something else to get people to say, "Oh, it's this bad."
I wasn't trying to say that it was as bad.
No. I get what you were trying to say. I get the importance that you were trying to put on your point. I get that. What I also am trying to say is, you're not the only person to do that. I'm not mad at you. I don't want you to leave tonight thinking that I'm mad at you. You can still come over here and fuck with me all the time till you do something retarded. But that's on another level. What I'm saying is, just have the empathy that you're looking for.
Yes.
For that plight, for the plight that you just used as an example. If you really want people to understand what you're talking about, then you have to see that at the same time you are advocating for these rights, you're running over some people.
You're right.
And those people don't like it because they've been screaming from the depths of hell for centuries.
Yeah.
Hey, Xavier, what state do you come from?
I live in Ohio.
And we down here in the South. Like my grandmother picked cotton. So like when we be talking about that kind of shit, that shit hit. Like comparing slavery and all that kind of shit, that shit hit. We don't like that.
And I'm from up that.
Go ahead.
I'm from up that way. So I'm going to be honest. Being from I'm from Indiana, and I will tell you, in the South, at least I know who don't like me. Up in Indiana, in spots like that, they wear a hellified mask, and you don't know who don't like you. You know, they're smiling in your face, and they'll just as quickly slit your throat as soon as you're not paying attention. So yeah, being up north, I hold nothing against you or anything like that. I appreciate you. You're a smart young man that you read, but I just ask that you do realize that the times that you're reading about and what you're reading on people is something that's most of the time written in a time period where, hell, we weren't considered as a full human being.
Yes.
So when you, I'm not preaching at you or anything. I'm just letting you know with the same enthusiasm that you have for something that's really just now bubbling up and making noise. And that's because, like I said, they want to be seen. You know what I'm saying? In order to be seen, you have to bring awareness to yourself. We agree on that?
Yes.
Well, we've been bringing awareness to ourselves for years. We're still not seen. And what you said was, well, there's a lot of people that's advocating for that. So I decided to advocate for something that there's not that many people on. Well, apparently there's not enough people advocating for it because we're still sitting in boats that have holes in them and sinking.
Need to advocate for reparations.
Yeah, I believe that should be done.
Goddamn right. Motherfucker got free labor, built this motherfucking country off that shit. Picking cotton in the South and sending that shit up north so they can make clothes and make all that bullshit and built this goddamn economy. And they kick us in the ass. and motherfuckers rather go to war for transgender instead of getting the book straight. Let's be an advocate for getting the book straight around this
Why can't we?
motherfucker.
Why can't we do all that? My only point I'm saying that I'm not like everybody here is on the same page when it comes to that issue, but everybody here isn't necessarily on the same page when it comes to just showing everybody respect. Like somebody changes their name, like if somebody's born as Tyrone, like what's on the screen, and that remains their name their whole lives, then why is anybody allowed to change their name, whether it be officially through the government or not? It's just as disrespectful.
Okay, but when the trans community stop disrespecting people, we can have a deeper conversation, because they disrespecting us. Every time they compare us the slavery to transgender, that's disrespecting us. So stop doing that shit, and then we can have a conversation about respect, because I'm not going to respect you while you disrespect me. And that's a big part of the philosophy as far as pushing for the advocacy. That's low-hanging fruit. Compare the LGBT community to the black community in slavery. Stop disrespecting people and demanding respect at the same time. That makes no sense.
I made a mistake.
Not just you. I'm not talking about just
when you say that makes it sound like you'll never be on the side of full respect because other people other than me are making that argument and not changing.
Would you respect a man that don't respect you?
No, and that doesn't. But I'm not going to put the disrespect of one man on that of all the people.
It's not just one man though. It's a big
No,
thing. Bro.
I said that.
We've been hearing that for years though, Xavier. Like people comparing the LGBT community's plights. We've been hearing that compared to our plights for years, bro. It's not just one person. That's a big part of.
If a man doesn't respect you, that's singular. One person doesn't respect you. Do you respect them? No, I don't respect one person who doesn't respect me. But if one person doesn't respect me and they're advocating for something, that doesn't mean I'm going to lump them in with everybody who advocates for the same thing as that one person.
Okay, let's put them all. What about all the people though? Let's say a community of people disrespecting us. Should we respect the community of people that's disrespecting us?
But if it's not everybody, why does that mean that?
It don't have to be everybody. It could be half of the people. Let's say half the motherfuckers are disrespecting us. Should we respect them?
Those who don't respect you, why should you respect those who don't respect you? But by that extension, why does that mean that you must not have any respect for all that they're advocating for because they make mistakes about how to go about explaining it?
Because they don't change.
I'm trying to change. Not everybody is the same.
And see, this conversation, you have to take yourself out of the conversation. See, when we're having this debate, it's not about us. It's about a whole. We're just speaking as about a whole. We're not, in no way do you need to sit there and think that this conversation is pointed at you, because it's not. If it doesn't fit, if the shoe don't fit, you don't put it on. That's simple as that.
I understand.
So don't think that we're having a conversation when things are said. Don't take it and be like, oh, well, because we understand that you're trying to change. And every time we say a certain thing, you don't have to worry about that coming on that's not your jacket to wear. You know what I'm saying? But once again, how old are you?
24.
Okay, so you're 24. Trey he's about to have 18 years of something that you don't have.
No, 14.
14. Oh, my bad. He's about to have 14 years of something that you don't have. I have over 25 plus over something you don't have. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to learn it in a book. I'm sorry. You're going to learn a lot from books, but the biggest teacher is going to be experience. And a lot of what you're giving us, the reason you're getting so much blowback from me on certain things, because what you're giving me is out of a book. And I'm like, dude, I've seen the living things of this. You know what I'm saying? Nothing that you can tell me coming from a book, your perspective of that book is not going to ring loud or true with me. Yeah, I respect a gay person. I know gay people that are friends of mine.
And that's
I know
all
transgender people. I'm not saying that to say, I'm not using that as that kind of thing. I am a human being and I treat human beings as human beings.
The only reason why this debate has been ongoing is because if Trey X felt the same way with you on addressing people as how they want to be addressed, I wouldn't really see much of an issue because, like,
It would still be an issue though, bro,
well,
because
yeah, of course.
10 years from now, people will still compare the LGBT community plight to black people in slavery. I guarantee that.
That
Because
needs
10 years ago they was doing it, and they still doing it today. Anytime I've heard this type of shit, it was always about let's put them in the same boat. Gay people, black people, they was getting oppressed, gay people getting oppressed. Let's go ahead and make that comparison. And I guarantee you, 10 years from now, they will still be doing that.
So then why do you have to use that as ammunition? It feels like it seems like you're not and you're not like, because people
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not
there are a
saying
lot of people that are advocating for transgender rights and just respect that use problematic language and problematic statements that offend many people who are black.
this
But-
is what I'm saying, Xavier. Let's say I do start using those pronouns. Let's say I call them the pronouns that they want to be called. Now I'm the only person being disrespected, because even though I'm calling them their pronouns, they're still using my community for a comparison, and it makes me feel disrespected. So when you say that if I use the pronouns and I give people their respect, there won't be an issue, there will be an issue because I'm still being disrespected.
I'm focusing on a very personal level because there's only so much one person can change.
You're not addressing what I just said. Like, do you feel like everybody should not be disrespected?
I have something to say to that.
Everybody deserves respect, right?
Yes, and an eye
what
for
I'm
an eye only makes everybody blind.
Okay, well, here's something that's not an eye for an eye. Right now, we're having debate is like a war of words, correct?
Yes.
Movements are small little wars that take place amongst different groups, correct?
Yes.
So let's just make this simple. We're in America, and I'm going to label all these little small wars, little small American wars. How many of them have ever been won without the help of black people? None.
Wait.
None.
Can you say that again?
I'm going to label all these little debates and real wars as little small American wars that's going on. Now, when you look at that, you say, how many of them have been won without black people? And I said
Are you
none.
talking about every conflict in history?
In America.
Okay. Sorry.
None. None to get them their freedom. None to keep Hitler from trying to take over the world. None when certain groups needed to get that little push over the line in order to get that law. None. But our plight is always used as part of their forefront call to arms. Every time. And there's promises that are being made to these people that come and help win these wars. Always promises. But they never pay through. And yet, people always have the audacity to come and say, you should do something. You should say a certain thing. You should move a certain way. That's pretty egregious. Self-centered, self-serving, any adjective you like to place on it, it's that, except noble. So to hear people advocating for things, whether it's homosexual rights or anything that you want to go out and advocate for, it sucks. It sucks to hear people fight so hard for something that people already have. But in your mind, you'll make it seem like, hey, you're not doing enough. You should do better by these people, by this group right here. Asians jumped up for 1 year and said that they were getting bullied. They made laws for them. They literally made laws for them right out the gate. Gay people, transgender people, whatever you want to say, they start making a situation about being identified a certain way. And now all of a sudden, anybody can go in the bathroom with my little girl. They made that a law. They even made special bathrooms. Well, all the time using the call to arms from a certain group of people to help them get over the finish line. That sucks. Now, you got some people who might look at it different and say, hey, it's all right. You know, we help. I'm not one of those people. I look at the people that I'm surrounded by, who I was raised with. I know the dangers of the other people on the other sides of the street. Muhammad Ali, since we used him earlier, he made a great statement. If 10,000 snakes were coming and you knew 1,000 of them were good and they were all trying to get in the house, would you let them all in? Or would you close the door and say, I know some of y'all good, but I can't trust which one of you it is?
That's something from the 60s that he said. He changed his mind on many things as he grew older.
He didn't change his mind on that.
Nah, hell no. I ain't seen no evidence that he changed his mind on that. And then let me say this. How do you feel about being an advocate for black people? Like, I want to know how you feel about advocating that the LGBT community stop disrespecting black people. Stop comparing their plight to ours, because we feel disrespected when they do that. Do you mind being an advocate for that?
No, I feel like I feel like that's my responsibility. I didn't really realize how I knew that it was bad and that it wasn't right, but I didn't really
understand it anyway.
You didn't deem it bad enough.
Yeah. I know. That's my fault. That's the fault of me.
So I'm saying, moving forward, I want to know, will you be an advocate and tell other trans people and trans advocates, stop using that comparison because we feel disrespected by it?
Yes, I'm going to do that because I feel
can ride with that.
Right.
That's what's up.
But like the thing is, like, I don't. If I see that on the internet, I will make a conscious effort to leave those kind of comments. And then the reason why guys is because you guys are open-minded enough to have a civil conversation with me. There are some channels on YouTube. There's can I say another channel's name?
You can say what you say. We don't want to disrespect nobody, and I'm not trying to throw salt on another channel. So we'll just say some other channel.
Okay, so
if somebody heard the conversation, they'll know who you're talking about.
There's a specific channel that I'm thinking about. I'm not going to refer to what it is, but I feel like they are racist. I feel like the owner of that channel is pretty racist, and the problem is they have the ability to, like, you can call in, but there's this thing that happens where everybody attacks that one person that has a different point of view, and there's no way that you can really get through to them the struggles of black people and the real issues that still go on today. So it's like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, I can't really do anything there because I'm not going to open myself up to being dogpiled. And the reason why I come on here is because I don't get dogpiled. You guys, I know that neither of you agree with me in the same way that other people that advocate for trans rights do, or like just the other people. But at the end of the day, you guys respect me enough to have this conversation with me without, just closing the door completely to anything I'm saying. And I thank you for that, because I don't really talk about this stuff very much. I just listen more than anything.
Well,
sorry,
I like knowledge. What like I said, what attracted me to you is because I can tell that you're smart and things like that. We come to this situation, this conversation. The reason I prodded at you a little more tonight than I did the first night, because the first night I wanted to see how you thought and what your thought pattern was. Once I understood that you were a 23-year-old, that opened up the book in the direction that I felt like I should have the conversation with you, to get you to understand something. And not to dump on you, because I would never do that, and I'm pretty sure nobody else would either. But to get you to understand what we're saying, that vigor and that fight that you have that way, realize that, it's a whole race of people, of men and women, children, that are going through a situation, And like you said, you didn't really think about it. You didn't deem it as important. You know,
Well,
you felt like you had enough help. Let's just put it like that, because you did.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people think that way, and in the same breath they'll be like, but you know, I'm willing to help and everything like that. Well, like you said, you know, you're not going to go somewhere where they're going to dump on you, but sometimes you got to go get dumped on in order to get your point across. And I'm not asking you to go and do that. I'm just letting you know that in the life of
to a degree, didn't I do that here?
Black people, you know, there's a situation. And for some of them, the sun has shined on them where they have good lives. For a lot of other ones, they had to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And when you get to a certain situation, you find out that the goalposts get changed. The goal line get moved. It's always some extra thing that we have to do, some extra hoop we have to jump through. Things that, if you're a white male, I don't know what you are, but if you are a Caucasian male, there are some things in life that you are not going to ever have to face.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
So you have to understand, when you talk to some strong black men and we're talking about a transgender situation, of course there's going to be blowback. There's going to be blowback for the simple reason that strong black man is like, I'm going to really sit here and advocate for somebody's situation that you hear me say a lot of times is made up, because nobody would know what you are. Straight people don't go around saying I'm straight, but gay people want you to Gay people want you to know they are. Transes want you to know they are. And if you're getting ready to lay down with a trans, I would hope that they did let you know, because I feel like you should have the choice.
Exactly, I agree.
And since everybody should have a choice, you know, Trey X should have the choice to say, I don't want to call you a girl if you used to be a boy. You could be mad about it, and that person that's trans, you know what I'm saying? You don't really have to cross certain paths. You really don't. You only cross them because you want to. That's the only reason you cross paths. You don't cross them because you don't want to, unless you just have no other way to go, and you have to go that way.
What do you mean by cross paths?
I mean, you know, crossing paths with, you know, you can dodge certain situations. You don't have to put yourself in certain situations. You do because you're looking to prove a point. I don't know what point the transes are trying to make. You know, and you've heard me say, I really don't care what point they're trying to make, because there's a point that I have that's sticking me in my back that's very important that everybody seems to be avoiding.
But I feel like you get it, though, because like you said, you don't care. You're not going to make a point about calling them the other, misgendering them. That's really the main point from what I've seen from most people. Obviously, there are ridiculous people that go extreme on every subject, but I feel like you already get it by just saying, like, you don't care. It's not your situation to try to misgender somebody. You're just gonna, like, if you have doubt, that's fine. But the whole point is just, why can't people just have a human experience and live their lives and be respected? I mean, you don't have to respect anybody. I could disrespect you if I really wanted to, but then you have the right to just kick me off. It's just, I'm doing my best to show respect, and I recognize now, thank you for showing me how I was very disrespectful. I knew that it was deep down because I had heard it a few times, but I didn't understand to the full extent, and I want to change that. And
well, you can only work on it. That's all.
Yeah, and that's my only point, is like, we all can just work on it. We should just want to work on just showing individuals respect, because no one person can change everything.
With that being said, I'm gonna hit him with Scumbo Baggins one more time. That's all right, Trey X. I gotta get it out there just so y'all
yeah.
Cause this is a hit on
let me say one thing though. Let me say one thing before you play it.
Go ahead.
Let me say one more thing. And yeah, I know you said earlier, Xavier, you like, man, I don't know if Trey X see me as a friend and shit. I actually do see you as a friend. If you remember when you came to my live stream yesterday, all the shit that we talked about over here, I left that shit over here. I ain't mentioned that shit at all. We talked boxing, I told the people how smart you was and all that kind of shit. I ain't never said nothing bad about you. Anytime I said something about you, besides that you get on my nerves sometimes, is that I think that I like you. Like when you came to this channel and OG was like, man, Xavier the boxing there, I was like, oh yeah, man, I like him. And he been subscribed to us and all that kind of shit. So that's what I think about you, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against you, man. We just disagree on this shit. And it's cool to disagree. Like when you say like about respect, we shouldn't misgender them. I think that's where the conflict comes in because we don't feel like we're misgendering them. We think we're calling them by the right gender. And on the other side, y'all feel like we're not calling them by the right gender. I think it's okay to disagree. We ain't got to agree on everything. That's just the way I see it.
Fair. That's fair.
Let me tell you about the legendary Scumbo Baggins, also known as King of Kings. The man so cheap he went to the strip club and the stripper told him to make it rain. That cheap motherfucker checked the weather and told the bitch to do a rain dance. Straight scumbag behavior.
Scumbo, bagging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo. Bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What? Yo, I don't fuck with the shady type. The Flakegate, Belichick, and Tom Brady type. 10-ounce gloves that been 90 degrees in a title fight. Or niggas that bet but don't wanna pay their debt. Scumbag, can't you see the light? Alright, then explain. Talk to how you have the mental fortitude to play the game. Place a bet on a round in the fighter's name. Then in victory, you quick to run and collect your claim. But in defeat, you quick to vanish. This ain't the multiverse with 5 rings or a hand of Thanos. There's only one ring involved, and it has a canvas. And since you gone, stay gone, nigga. You're banished. We gotta do it, cause it's only right. You broke a bond with the fellas that was airtight. The way you be nicking has got these motherfuckers hype. Guaranteed when they see you, nigga, it's on sight. We talking about
Scumbag of the decade. The man so cheap he takes his own leaves to the lemonade stand to get the price drop from a quarter to a dime. Nobody off limits, not even a kid.
so now the men joke, scumbo. Bragging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo. Bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What?
Scumbo bagging, pockets must be lacking. Roaches on the bed and post like that's what's happening. Jumps on the show, chest out, bro. I'm really hoping to save if I could pay or brother no. Scumbag behavior. Did that boy just say that shit? Right then and now, say get this weed split. Trey X starts it out. Hyphen getting egg, Eric R. stutter ragging. Coming up with Scumbo Baggins. I done got pissed. His bragging made me mad. I really thought he was better than that. He showed himself a fag. MZ stutter roast. Dude didn't give a shit. He was proud of the shit he did, laughing like a bitch. Now he in his feelings. Don't get mad, bro. You know you're supposed to pay our bets. Who you gotta go? Hiding in the wings. We see you scumbag king. Bet you wish you didn't say that shit. Pay your debts, king of kings. I wonder what you really thought when you came out like that, bro. Said, fuck it, let me have it. I can take it like you really like to be a scum, yo. You must have thought we was some lame ass niggas you could bully on this boxing talk show. You got us twisted, now you're missing. Don't hear you laughing, scum, bo.
Scumbo Baggins. The man so cheap his son told him he wanted to grip. So Scumbo told the boy to stop fucking bitches without a rubber. Now that's a scumbag. No, son.
So now the men joke, scumbo. Bragging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo. Bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What?
That's Scumbo Baggins right there. We coming on with it. The Block family put a hit out on that man. So I want to let y'all know. We got 3 songs dropping September 16th. That's going to be High Noon, the Yo Cypher, and Maestro made a dance track called Party Leg. We're going to also have that dropping. So we're going to celebrate that. We're not going to have a show next Tuesday. We're going to move it to Thursday, the 15th and the 16th. I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna just do it.
Hold on,
So-
man. Y'all, you gonna move it to Thursday and I do trivia that night?
Oh,
Boy,
snap.
niggas just disrespect the game, boy.
Wait, it's trivia.
Wait a minute. Let me look at the calendar. Hold
I
on.
do trivia on Thursdays, brother.
Are you doing
Man said we gonna move. Oh, go ahead, Xavier.
this week, this Thursday and next Thursday?
I'm
Or-
trying to do it every Thursday. I'm trying to get consistent and do it every Thursday.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll do it on the 16th because that's when the songs drop. I'm gonna be at trivia because that's my birthday. I'm gonna give me some points.
Oh, I didn't even know that was your birthday.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That
do it.
day.
I'm gonna do it up there. Yeah, that's cool. I'll come over there and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna kick everybody's butt because I already know Xavier the
I'm
boxer
about to
gonna
say.
be there, and that other dude that I seen on there getting all those damn points, giving points away, talking about oh, I just gave that one to him. That dude, they're ridiculous. I can't even type that fast. First of all,
Yeah, I saw Xavier on the video promoting that shit too. He was in a comment section on the live stream. He was like, "Hey man, you should come check out Marlowe's Corner. They do trivia on Thursdays." I seen that shit.
Oh, you follow 86 Boxing?
I got suggested the channel by Hyphy, so I went to the live stream
Yeah.
and see what they were talking about.
Yeah, he's got a good channel. He's going into the history.
Yeah, that's what Hyphy said.
Yeah, he's been around for like about a half a year or so.
I ain't gonna lie, it was hard for me to listen because the way the black dude talked, that motherfucker talk was so dragging and shit. It was hard for me to stay with it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm gonna try again though.
Dude, were you watching the live stream?
Yeah, live stream.
They just talk about modern stuff there mostly, but they reference older stuff. You should check out his short videos. They'll talk about like specific old fighters and just like give a brief overview.
we
I
got
might
some
have seen that shit because I think that's where I saw that Jack Johnson fought against the three-time champion, three-weight division champion, Bob Fitzsimmons. I think it might have been one of those shorts.
Okay. Oh, you've seen the shorts? Yeah.
I think.
The shorts hit big. If you look at his like Jack Dempsey or something, he's got like hundreds of thousands of views on some of these. I think he may have hit 1 million on one, but I'm not quite sure.
He need to do something because he only had 1,000 subscribers. He needs to be able to translate that shit into people subscribing to his channel.
Yeah, maybe he just needs to focus on the big fighters more because he's got the formula for big hits and views. Because he's gotten the views, that kind of proves it, but it's crazy.
Mike Henry's birthday is September 19th. I will be 61 years old. Man.
Okay, I was
there, you OG.
At 64,000 views on his most viewed, which was John L. Sullivan.
Yeah.
But still, 64,000. That's a lot for.
That's a lot.
And he's only got 1,001 1.1K subscribers.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's why I said he need to do something. He's doing something wrong. You shouldn't get that many views and not get no subs. That's what I'm trying to say.
We're on like the big guys because he's got the formula, like the John L. Sullivan stuff. Maybe he just needs to focus on those, like just focus on guys like that.
And remind people to subscribe. Tell them motherfuckers subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content.
Yeah, you got to do that. Xavier, this one at you. Gil Cole said Xavier should have an automatic 10 points deducted on the next trivia.
Like Trey Hicks said, he didn't let that carry over, so I would expect that not to be a thing.
Nah, I don't even know what I'm saying. It is what it is. Hey, we about being fair on the corner.
Well,
he just talking shit though. That's how Gil is. Gil just
he trying to handicap you so he can try to come in first place. He got to get it the way he can.
Gil might duck him like he did last week with Lawrence Williams. He saw Lawrence Williams in the chat and said, "Hey man, I just sprained my ankle or some shit." He said, "I gotta go."
I think he said his shoulder.
I think he said he hurt his something like a Keith Thurman injury. I can't remember. I think it was an elbow or something.
Yeah, but he sure got up out of there. I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. I watched it on the replay and saw him. I was rolling.
That's the difference between a 3.5 and a 5 on the pedigree scale. This motherfucker Xavier is a 2-time national champion.
Yeah, you and your amateur shit. Man, I went to an amateur fight when I was living in Minnesota. I went to school there, and I went to an amateur fight. That shit was amazing.
How many fights did they have on the card?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was at least like 8, though.
It was like at least how many?
What was that?
How many you say?
Probably like 8 to 10. I'm not quite sure, but It was actually it was going on when Anthony Joshua lost to Usyk the first time.
You need to go to a real one, nigga. When I used to fight, they have 40 on that bitch. I'm
Man,
talking about
I had no idea.
we start fighting early.
Because they were
Like-
only on fights. There were probably way more than I remember, but it probably wasn't 40. I wouldn't say
See, this the way it used to be for me. Like on the day of the fight, we meet up at the gym and we all test our weight and shit. Some people, they want to cut them extra pounds, so they throw them sauna suits on and they start doing all of that. And then I say probably like 7 o'clock, depending on where we're going, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we fight out of state. So we will go to the location where we're going to fight. Everybody get registered. So you give them your books and shit. And then everybody go weigh in. And then they start matchmaking everybody. You're going to find out who you're going to fight. So then after that, we go find something to eat because, you know, we all hungry because we just weighed in.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the spot to where we gonna fight, and you find out where you at on the list of the fights. A lot of the time, my number would be like number 36 or something. So the whole day, I got me a towel or a blanket laid out, and I'm just in that bitch sleep. And then when they get to like number 30, they be like, "Oh yeah, Trey, you need to get up, man. It's getting close time for you to fight. You need to get up and start getting warmed up." And then I get warmed up, and we go in there and fight. So like, when we first get there, it's early. By the time I fight, it's nighttime because it's that many fucking fights. You know what I'm saying? And that's one reason why I think that the amateur tournaments and shit, they a lot more, like you get more bang for your buck because it's a lot of action and it's a lot of fights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm curious what city you were living in when you were fighting.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah. I had Curtis Coates as a trainer.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah, I feel like the other issue is like Minnesota boxing really fell off. Like it hasn't been on. The last real hope for it was back in the 40s with Mike Gibbons' son, Jack Gibbons, and he didn't really pan out. He didn't fight Joe Louis, but he didn't pan out, and Minnesota boxing hasn't been the same since.
Yeah, I don't really think of that as a boxing hotbed, but I do know it was some fighters back in the day that was called the Minnesota they home.
Yeah, he like back in the 30s and before.
I want to say Charlie Burley took that as a second home for a little while. He was fighting out of Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of them, him or Ezra Charles, one of the motherfuckers.
Wow. Yeah, they really. I don't think it was Ezra, but I wouldn't be surprised. But
I want to say it was Charlie Burley. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, Minnesota, it hasn't had much going on since the 40s.
Yeah.
But Ohio's way better. I know they've got a lot more going on here. I mean, what was that guy? Junior Fa fought here a few years ago.
Yeah.
There was actually a heavyweight fight here in like 05. I was too young.
Yeah, Ohio boxing region, man. A lot of good fighters come from Toledo and come from Cleveland.
Yeah, they're all coming from Toledo nowadays.
Yeah.
I have some questions. I'm a little skeptical on the style of who's coming out of there because they just, I don't know, something just feels a little off with them. They don't seem to reach the same heights as some of the other corners of the country. But they do.
What you mean they don't reach the heights?
Well, they haven't unified. Can't think of anybody in the century that's unified from Ohio. Like they've won belts here and there, but they're not like what's his name? The guy that fought Bartholomew to a draw.
Oh, you talking about Robert Easter?
Yeah, Robert Easter. I mean, I think it's more so of an issue of people not starting young enough at the end of the day.
I don't know I think Robert Easter mainly fought regional though, if I'm not mistaken. I know he got a lot of amateur fights. He was like 207 and 13. It was some shit like that. I ain't seen it in a long time, but I don't recall him doing a lot on the national stage. So I don't know if that's a good example. But if you want to say like Adrian Broner, somebody that was 319.
Wasn't he from he was more from Cincinnati, right? He wasn't from Toledo, at least.
Not Toledo, but I thought we were talking about Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio. Yeah, I mean, even Adrian Broner, there just seems to be something off. Maybe I feel like that's more of a mentality thing with him. Well,
but he didn't do nothing internationally though. And that's why I like to start international. Like a lot of the fighters that you'll think about that's been unifying and shit, a lot of them dudes been fighting internationally, man.
Yeah.
Like even Earl Spence. Earl Spence was fighting in the AIBA World Championships, fighting in the Olympics. Robert Easter and Adrian Broner and all them dudes, they didn't do all of that.
Yeah.
So that's why I have my pedigree scale, because it's not just about the amount of fights that you have. It's about where you fought them at. Are you fighting locally? Are you fighting nationally? Are
Yeah,
you fighting?
what you were saying with Ortiz, how he's got that big record, but he didn't win any really significant.
Not nothing major. He just won. He won some national championships in Cuba, but he wasn't placing in the international competitions. So that's why when I see somebody like Wilder had significantly less fights. Ortiz got 362 amateur fights, and Wilder only got 35. But Wilder knocked his ass out twice. But Wilder, he medaled in the major tournament. When he went to the Olympics, he medaled.
Yeah.
Ortiz wasn't medaling. And that's why I look at the scale. So that's why I say a 4.5 went out there and knocked out a 4. And I'm supposed to be surprised. Like, no, I'm not surprised. That's why I have my pedigree scale.
Yeah, I don't like the way Wilder's been treated by a lot of fans. Like, he's obviously not the most technical fighter, but he's still got technical abilities. Like, you can't he's not like he's just going in there like looking for like waving his arms around throughout the whole fight. He set Luis Ortiz up in both of those fights, despite the fact that he struggled.
He's a sniper, in my opinion. He has an identity, and he's been able to find a way to land his right hand. That's his identity. He's not a guy that's going to go out there and outbox you and win rounds. I've only seen him do that one time, and that was the first Berman Stavern fight. Yep. I'm not mad at a fighter that got an identity, man. Like you said, he got a late start in boxing when he was 19. He ain't the perfect fighter. He ain't the most technical fighter. But I always will respect a fighter that has an identity, because if you don't have one, you got problems.
Yeah, and I'm honestly sick and tired of the way people have been talking about him. He was one of the first fighters when I got into boxing where I really liked him, and it's just like sickens me to see how much people hated him over nothing. Well, it was something, but
yeah, I'm about to say they really mad at him. The way I took it, like they were mad at him for being a sore loser, but at the same time,
hated him before he lost. Though people were always making those racial comments.
That's just part of the game. Like tell me a part in boxing where you had a period in boxing where you had a big time black fighter that didn't get no criticism. Yeah, that's part of the game.
I guess it just felt different because, like, obviously Floyd got criticism for being black, and he got his racial stuff. It just felt different the way they piled onto Wilder.
What's the difference? When Mayweather was coming up, it wasn't no internet for people to sit around and talk about it 24/7.
So
Wilder come along, we got social media, man. People can literally talk about this man for 24/7. It's just it's the time that we're living in. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. It just feels, when I say it feels different, I mean, like, it just felt like they dogpiled onto him in a different way than they did Floyd at the end of his career. Because, like, Floyd, like you said, when he was coming up, then we didn't have the internet like that, but we had it in 2010 to 2015 at the end of his last 5 years of his career. And it was bad. Like, I wasn't around for that, but I saw the aftermath, and I saw the videos some of the videos that were put up, and it was bad, but it just felt, I don't know what it was with Wilder that really made people truly hate him. Like, it felt like they hated him more than Floyd. And, like, at the end of the day, it's like, all they could say about Floyd when it came to his fighting was that he's boring.
Man, people don't like Wilder too because he's from the South, man, and he got that Southern drawl, that Southern accent. People have a different type of hatred to Southern black people, man. It's even black people that ain't from the South, and they be I don't know prejudice, but they be like against us. Like, they'll listen to the way I talk, and they think I'm dumb because I sound country and I talk slow and all that kind of shit.
I didn't even think you really Southern.
Huh?
I didn't even think you really had a Southern accent. Man.
Yeah, I done heard that shit a whole bunch of times. Like people from the South and New York, for example, we don't get along for the most part. Our lingo is so much different. I remember one time we had a poker game, and it was some cats from New York. And I came in, I'm like, man, what's up with y'all boys? And these motherfuckers got offended. You know what I'm saying? Because I said that shit. What you mean, boy? And all that kind of shit. Like, man, that's just the way we talk, man. I ain't mean nothing racial about that dumb ass. I'm black. But it's just a disconnect between our cultures. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that Wilder has added on to him. This motherfucker from Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, people be thinking folks from the South, we just dumb and country. This is what that is. And plus, at the same time, Mayweather's style was more aesthetically pleasing. I mean, it was like poetry. It's kind of hard to criticize that. People look at Wilder and they don't respect his skills. I saw a video not that long ago where Ray Mercer was talking about Wilder. He need to learn how to fucking box and all that kind of shit. It's just what it is. Even though I think if Ray Mercer fought Wilder, I think Wilder got a chance to knock his ass out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he don't respect his skills.
That could be a combination to get knocked out. Not respecting the fact that you can get knocked out.
Yeah.
And this is more than one way to skin a cat too, man. I mean, you can't take away from what this man done. I can't lie and say that I'm an expert on Ray Mercer's career, but I don't know if he was a champion for 10 years, for 5 years, my bad, with 10 title defenses.
Well, I think he only won the WBO title before it was relevant as a main championship.
I mean, to me, Wilder ain't that far behind him. I think Ray Mercer won an Olympic gold medal, if I'm not mistaken. Wilder won a bronze. Wilder won the championship, WBC. He won the WBO. Wilder made 10 title defenses. I mean, what's that much of a difference? Even though you feel like your style, your skills are just so much superior, if you look at the results, your results really ain't that much superior. But I will say he probably fought tougher competition for sure. I mean, he came up in an era where heavyweights was they were out there getting their paper, you know what I'm saying? But I still think he should have some respect for what Wilder was able to accomplish.
I have a harder, I wouldn't say a harder time, but I just have like when I hear fighters say these kind of things, it just makes me think a little different. Like they went out there, they did their thing, and like their criticisms come from a point of that. But then you're a fighter too, like you've been in the ring, you've boxed, so it's like it's just interesting to hear. It's just he's such a he's just such a divisive figure. It's fascinating to see all like how like people that respect him, like not everybody respects him. Obviously, like he just said he needs to learn how to fucking box, but he's got enough respect to know that like he's gone out there and done what he's done. It's just fascinating how he's really like polarizing, because like Teddy Atlas, when he was like breaking down, he had that whole thing where he was breaking it down, like look how he can be beat, and everyone just ran off of that. But then Teddy has his biases too.
And at the same time, with somebody like Ray Mercer, one of the things that we know him for is his devastating knockout over Tommy Morrison.
Yeah,
that's what we know him for. Like a lot of people that ain't just straight experts, they that's the first thing they think about. So now you got somebody like Wilder that's kind of challenging that, because we know him for being a highlight reel knockout artist, kind of like what's a slam dunk champion? Dominique Wilkins. He like the Dominique Wilkins of boxing. He like a human highlight reel. So people know you and respect you for having this devastating knockout. And now we got a person that come along that you feel like got inferior boxing skills, but he's being known as being a knockout artist. And he got some knockouts that some people might think can rival your knockout of Tommy Morrison. That's going to make him feel threatened a little bit. And that's a big part of what I got from that. You know what I'm saying? Because people like to own their lane. And he kind of feeling like, well, damn, this dude coming up, he ain't got the same skill. But look, people respecting him for the knockouts, and he ain't even knocking out the caliber of competition that I knocked out. They talking about I knock out Tommy Morrison, he go out there and knock out Dominique Brazil, and he feel like that's not fair. You see what I'm saying? So I kind of understand where you're coming from, but I don't agree with it though.
Or was that just an example, or was it after he knocked out Brazil that he said that?
Well, he actually didn't say that. This is just me in my outside armchair psychologist doing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just felt like it could have been like I know that you have a really good memory, and you bring up certain things in certain ways that are alluding to specific times. I was just curious if that was after he had knocked out Brazil that he said that.
Yeah, the only thing I ever heard Ray Mercer say about him is what he said in the interview fairly recently.
Well, what do you think of James Toney? Wait, or was it James Toney? There was somebody else that was criticizing Wilder. It wasn't James Toney, because he said that he would knock out these guys. Who was it? Do you know who I'm talking? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It seemed like I done heard James Toney be critical of Wilder. Yeah.
I thought I had, but then I remember that he picked him to win this next fight, but that doesn't mean he's not critical. But regardless, what do you think of James Toney being critical of him? Because James Toney, yeah, he fought at heavyweight, but he wasn't known for the knockouts.
But he known for skills.
Yeah.
And that's what he gonna respect. And if it's a fighter that he feel like he don't respect his skills, he's not, it is what it is.
I feel like he was criticizing Usyk too. I can't remember specifically, but I could have sworn he was criticizing some of the more technical fighters as well.
Well, that people view that as technical, but he might not view it as technical because it's a style that's a lot different from that Americanized style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way that they probe with the lead hand and shit like that. Americans don't do that. I even seen Anthony Joshua try to do that against Usyk in the first fight, probing up and down with the lead hand, that Eastern European style.
Honestly, I feel like that was such a bad strategy for Joshua because I thought he lost way worse in the second fight. I just felt like the only big difference I saw was that he was just coming forward without a jab. If he had come forward with a jab, it could have helped him. I don't feel like it would have helped him really win, but I feel like he would have done a little better if he had. It felt like he abandoned the jab. Maybe not the probing jab or the pawing jab is what he needed, but I felt like he just threw the jab away.
Well, when you're in a closed guard fight, orthodox going against southpaw, the jab is not your primary weapon. You want to work off the lead right hand. Like if you want an example, go back and look at Mayweather versus Zab Judah. If you look at the first 4 rounds, Mayweather tried to work off the jab and he was getting beat. And then after that, he abandoned the jab, started throwing the lead right hand in place of the jab, coming back with the hook, and he started taking the fight over. So that was just basic strategy against a southpaw. It's not about the jab for the most part. You want to throw that lead right hand because that's what they lined up for.
But what about feinting the jab? Like even if you don't follow through on it, that could get him thinking that you're going to do that, and then you come with the lead right hand.
It wouldn't really make sense though because the jab is not much of a threat. Like one reason why people like Terrence Crawford when he fought against Victor Postal, he changed southpaw to take the jab away from Victor Postal. Like to defend the jab, 2 things that you can do is put some lateral movement like Sugar Ray Leonard against Thomas Hitman Hearns, or you can change stances and you can kind of take the jab away like Crawford against Postal. So feinting a punch that's really not much of a threat is not going to be as effective. If you start landing that lead right hand and then you feint that motherfucker, then you're gonna start getting some reactions out of them. But if you in a closed guard fight, the jab is not your first thing.
Wait, so you're saying land the lead right hand and then feint which punch?
Get the lead right hand established, and then you can start feinting them. But for the most part, the jab is not what you're looking for. Like sometimes you will see like this fight we just had with Ruiz and Ortiz. Ortiz tried to work off the jab in that fight. You know what I'm saying? So you will see it done. Earl Spence is another one. He a southpaw. He fight orthodox fighters. He'll work off the jab, and he's effective with it. But for the most part, that's not the case. You want to throw that lead 2. The lead 2 is your main weapon.
Like Joshua's jab isn't going to be as refined because he got into it as an older age into boxing, right?
Yeah, that too. But still, going against a southpaw though, the jab is not going to be as effective.
Of course.
Yeah, when you in a closed guard fight, man, it's really hard to hit each other. That like you can, but it's not like when you going against the same stance. That's why, like when you see orthodox against orthodox or southpaw against southpaw, the knockouts come a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just had a southpaw against southpaw fight this past weekend. Rayo Valenzuela, he fought this dude Edwin De Los Santos. Went out there and got his ass knocked out in 3 rounds. Southpaw against southpaw, everything was landing. Look at Ortiz when he fought against Charles Martin. Southpaw against southpaw. They out there catching each other, knocking each other down and shit. Look at Bam Rodriguez when he fought against Sauron Visar. Open guard fight, southpaw against southpaw. Sauron Visar ain't been stopped since his first 2 professional fights, and he go out there and get stopped by this youngster that moved up in weight because we got an open guard fight. It's a lot easier to hit the motherfucker when you're in the same stance as opposed to the opposite stance.
Sauron Visar did fight as he is a little bit of a switch hitter though. He has against Estrada. He is.
But he stays southpaw against Bam.
He fights majority southpaw. So yeah, I definitely get your point. So with that, would you say that did you feel like Joshua threw enough lead right hands? Because
I didn't like his approach to the fight.
he was kind of much more inactive than he should have been.
I didn't like his overall approach to the fight. See, for me, I felt like the key to the fight, you got to go back and look at Lomachenko versus Salido, and you also got to look at Usyk versus Chisora. And the lead right hand, straight right hand, is your main primary weapon. But when you're going against that style right there, that Papachenko type of style, that's what I call it. The looping right hand is something that you want to take advantage of. If you look at Salido, when he was fighting against Lomachenko, he would throw the looping right hand. He would lead with it, and he would go to the body, and he would go to the head with it. So he made Lomachenko have to decide where the punch is going. And if he guessed wrong, he would get caught with something. And I saw the same thing with Chisora going against Usyk. You know what I'm saying? And plus that punch, that looping right hand, you can really show a man that you're bigger than him. Because if you land that punch, you can make him take a few steps to the right because you're so much bigger and got so much power. It's not quite as pronounced when you throw the straight right hand, but I do think you need both of them. On the basic level, we need to start with the straight down the pipe. And at the same time, when you're fighting a sophisticated fighter that's always being first and making you make decisions, you need to make them make decisions on where this punch is going to go. And the best way to do that is with the looping right hand because you have more of a variation with it. So I think he should have been looking at those fights, Lomachenko versus Salido, look at Usyk versus Chisora, and I think he should have took that type of approach, you know what I'm saying? Because Chisora, he lost to Usyk 7-5. It was a close fight. And he did a lot of good things in that fight. And Lomachenko actually lost to Salido, and I thought it was a rightful loss too, in my opinion. And I think those were the keys.
Now, when you say that, I started remembering the Lopez fight with Lomachenko. He was throwing quite a few right hands in that fight, but he still.
It was a little different though because Lomachenko was trying to stay away from him so early. You know what I'm saying? So yeah Lopez was just. I saw him throwing jabs and throwing all kind of stuff.
Is like he had his jab established in that fight too, but he for a lot of right hands.
Yeah, and Lomachenko didn't really engage with him, so he didn't really have to be as effective with anything because he was winning rounds by default. But when the fight actually started and Lomachenko started fighting back, Lopez wasn't as effective. He let Lomachenko close the fight strong.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So we don't really know if he would have been effective because Lomachenko went and ran for the first 6 rounds. If he didn't do that shit, it could have been a different fight.
That's a very good point. Do you think they'll ever fight again?
Nah. That shit been said. Lopez went to 140. Lomachenko, in my opinion, he should still be at 130. The only reason I think he moved up is because they want to say that he's a 3-division champion. He won at 126, 130, now 135. And that's marketable to say that shit. Kind of like Pacquiao. You know, Pacquiao moving up all them divisions. Yeah. And they can say, well, he a 5-division champion or whatever that shit is. How many divisions? Like 8 divisions he won championships in?
You know, technically it was only 6.
6? Okay.
Yeah, they say 8.
But they say 8 because of the Ring Magazine. I give it credit because of that, because it's not like he just won the vacant Ring Magazine title, but even if he did, it would still be credible. It's because of the lineage of where he won, where those belts came from, such as Ricky Hatton. He had the Ring Magazine and the IBO, but it came directly from Undisputed.
Yeah, I think he got some fights at 135 that he can get, like Devin Haney and stuff, because I know they want to get him as the undisputed champion again. That's the fight that I see coming up after Kambosos.
Has Haney fought a southpaw? I know he has an amateur career, right? Like I know
130-8. I don't know how many national champion, but he won on the junior level. But
because I know he started professionally much younger than most fighters nowadays.
Yeah, he started at 17 in Mexico.
Yeah, but I knew that he had something of an amateur career, so I'm wondering how many southpaws he faced and what his how much success he really got against them.
Well, he got a weapon that's kind of built in. He got a nice a piston-like lead right hand. Kind of like Adrian Broner when he fought against Alak Verdiev or something, however you say that shit. Alak Verdiev at 140. That was Adrian Broner's best win, in my opinion. And the lead right hand was a weapon that he used against a southpaw. And I done seen the lead right hand against Devin. Even though it was against orthodox fighters, I've seen that he's in possession of a tool that'll be effective against a southpaw. So I don't know if he'll be like if he's gonna put it down the way he should, but I think he he has the opportunity because he has the weapon that he needs. We'll just see if he able to execute.
Maybe not use the Philly shell because, you know, going against the opposite stance, it doesn't work as effectively.
Yeah, I agree with that all the way.
I mean, there's always exceptions. I mean, we saw Pernell Whitaker use it at times, and he was a southpaw, but there were different.
We saw Mayweather use it against Pacquiao, but
yeah,
it was different though.
Exceptions, and it takes different kind of work. He still had a lot of lead right hands in that fight, and he swapped between them.
He did throw a lot of lead right hands, but on the defensive side is where you're gonna have the problems and counter punching. And you saw like some adjustments he made, like the pull counter. Like a lot of time when he do the pull counter against an orthodox fighter, he want to pull off the jab and then come over the top with the right hand. But when he did it against Pacquiao, instead of coming back with the right hand, he would come over the top with a jab. And like when I call fights like with closed guard fights, southpaw against orthodox, that's something that I commonly say. He countered over the top of the jab with a jab of his own. Like when Ugas fought against Pacquiao, that was something that I said all night. And I said it on both sides, you know what I'm saying? Because that's something that you do. Like Earl Spence versus Kell Brook. Kell Brook kept on countering over the top of the jab with a jab of his own. So instead of countering with the right hand, a lot of the time you're going to be countering with your lead hand. And that's an adjustment that they have to make. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you said it was counter over the. Can you say that phrase again?
He countered over the top of the jab with a jab of his own.
Yeah.
You typing it?
No, I just had to think about it, visualize it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the jab hands are on the same side.
Yeah.
So when they throw the jab, you come right over the top of that motherfucker with your own jab. Go look at the first couple of rounds of Earl Spence versus Kell Brook. Kell Brook was doing that shit beautifully.
That's what Clifton Vladimir did against Chris Bird. Counter over the top of his jab with his jab.
I don't remember it like that. I ain't gonna lie, but that sound about right. Because Manny Stewart would know that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
And with his counter, I remember he would go over the top of the jab, but he would also push it down as he would push it down and then almost, I can't remember if he doubled it, but I remember he would go over the top and push his jab out of the way while countering.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course, man.
It's midnight, OG. What you want to do?
Oh shoot, okay, yeah, because I need some cigars.
So you want to shut it down?
Y'all go ahead and give you goodbyes and stuff. I'm gonna end it with High Noon and call it a night. I'll
go first, man. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all coming through supporting OG. You know what I'm saying? That shit mean a lot. Appreciate Xavier jumping on the panel. I told the people, man, you came through and taught us something yesterday. What's the name of the dude that knocked out Archie Moore in the first round? Leonard what?
Morrow.
Leonard Morrow. I remember Fidel LaBarber won a championship in this 11th fight, Olympic gold medalist in 1924, went to Stanford, beat 2 Hall of Famers in 1 month, Kid Chocolate and Bud Taylor, right?
Yep.
Yeah, remember that shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So appreciate you coming through, spreading the knowledge and shit. I ain't always receptive at the inception of this, but I did come around and I just learned the information like I was supposed to. Appreciate the conversation, man. I ain't take this shit personally as far as the debate and all that kind of shit. Yeah. You welcome to come through the channel, come through the corner whenever you get ready. I consider you a friend. Salute to OG, man. Appreciate you letting me get on the panel as always. I like the song that y'all making. Salute to my man, my OG, Ernest Davis, Texas Timbo, putting down them beats and shit. I like the verse on the track too. I'm looking forward to your verse on the track too, OG. I can't wait to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? I see that you want to run anchor on the boys too. Well, yeah, man, I'm sorry for talking so much, man. Much love to everybody, and I'm gonna catch y'all Thursday.
Shoot, my mute was on. That sound like a winning plan to me. You got something to say, Xavier?
Yeah. The first fighter that I've been able to find, first example of a fighter who fought and beat 2 Hall of Famers in 1 month was Sam Langford. It was in his second win against Harry Wills. He knocked him out. I think it was the 18th round in February 1916. Later that month, he beat Sam McVeigh. That's the first one I've been able to find. There might be one earlier, but I can't find it.
And that's an old Sam Langford.
Yeah, old Sam Langford. And the most recent example of that I can find was Archie Moore when he beat Jimmy Bivens in April of 1949. And then later that month, he beat Harold Johnson. 2 Hall of Famers. One was a champion, one was not.
Hey, and you know this Jersey Joe Walcott, the only man to knock out a father and son, right?
Which ones?
He knocked out Harold Johnson and his father. He knocked them both out in the 6th round with a right hand right between the eyes.
I think I had heard of that, but I know I've heard of that in passing, but I never really internalized or realized that Harold Johnson's father fought.
Look it up, man. That Square Business Scrapbook talked about it too. I asked that as a trivia question before too.
You said Phil Johnson was his dad?
I think that's his name, but I say Harold Johnson and his father, but I do think his father's name is Phil.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. You know why?
Because we can't start a whole conversation, bro. We got to close this down, man. These are closing remarks, Xavier.
He knocked out father and son in the 3rd round each.
Oh, the 3rd round. My bad. I said 6th round. But yeah, 3rd round. My bad.
But damn, knocked them both out in the 3rd round.
And Scrapbook said it was a right hand between the eyes that knocked him out both times.
Wow.
But yeah, man, closing remarks, bro. You trying to shut it down?
That's all. I've only found 7 fighters who have 2 wins against Hall of Famers in 1 month.
Okay.
Y'all
So you
subscribe to
dropped
the
some
channel.
knowledge
man.
before we leave.
Yeah.
Y'all subscribe.
Stayed up till 3 in the morning looking up through hundreds of fights one night, and I only found 7 examples. There are probably more, but I don't know where they are yet.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody coming through. As always, great discussion, great topics, and just great spending time. I'm going to leave you guys with High Noon, and we out.
Boy say you wanna see me in the street so bad I knew. He made that trip when we were drinking in the kitty cat saloon. Dude got mad cause the dame chose me. I'm just drinking in the cut. Could it be the size of my boots that made her wanna say what's up? He looked at my partner with a smirk on my face and I shook my head. Tomorrow at high fucking noon, somebody has on me dead. Where's my hat? I done got fucking mad. I ain't gonna get no fucking sleep. Because of this fucking toe sucker that call me out in these streets. Got up early next morning, sent a message to my bro back home. He tell us that where first I spit on the ground, and I said, Houston. He asked what's the message, then I said, I'm sorry, I know I said I'm coming home soon. But I'ma be on the run, about to kill a toe sucker, and about I know. I know. I know.
Playing my guitar, sitting in the back with my head down low. Running long, Joe say single to the bar, keep sending some more. I'ma tell you a story about the kitty cat saloon. This is how it goes down. If you got you some payment and you trying to come chill, yeah, the girls let them move around. Now everyone knows how the story goes. If the girl choose him, you just let her go. But this boy about to die for this broad catch fire. But this broad understand, don't even know her. He's standing in the perfect spot for the perfect shot. If I squeeze, I'm a sniper for sure. I ain't gotta worry about a mind. Why is that? So my little brother home is T. You come here tripping with fans, what happened? Automatically release the beast. I heard my big bro say I'ma give you what you want. What you want. On tomorrow, have your punk ass out in front. Out in front. Tell your mom that her son will catch me at the highest sun. I know. I know. I know.
Let me tell you about the legendary Scumbo Baggins, also known as King of Kings. The man so cheap he went to the strip club and the stripper told him to make it rain. That cheap motherfucker checked the weather and told the bitch to do a rain dance. Straight scumbag behavior.
Scumbo, bagging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo. Bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What? Yo, I don't fuck with the shady type. The Flakegate, Belichick, and Tom Brady type. 10-ounce gloves that been 90 degrees in a title fight. Or niggas that bet but don't wanna pay their debt tight. Can't you see the light? Alright, then explain. Talk to me. How you have the mental fortitude to play the game. Place a bet on a round in the fighter's name. Then in victory, you quick to run and collect your claim. But in defeat, you quick to vanish. This ain't the multiverse with 5 rings or the hand of Thanos. There's only one ring involved, and it has a canvas. And since you gone, stay gone, nigga. You're banished. We gotta do it, cause it's only right. You broke a bond with the fellas that was airtight. The way you be nicking has got these motherfuckers hype. Guaranteed when they see you, nigga, it's on sight. We talking about
Scumbag of the decade. The man so cheap he takes his own limits to the lemonade stand to get the price drop from a quarter to a dime. Nobody off limits, not even a kid.
So now the men joke, Scumbo, bagging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo, bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What?
Scumbo bagging, pockets must be lacking. Roaching on the bed and post like that's what's happening. Jumps on the show, chest out, bro. I'm really hoping to save if I can pay or for the note. Scumbag behavior. Did that boy just say that shit? Right then and now, say get this wig split. Trey X starts it out. Hyping, getting ag, Eric R. stutter ragging. Coming up with Scumbo Baggins. I done got pissed. His bragging made me mad. I really thought he was better than that. He showed himself a fag. MZ stutter roast. Dude didn't give a shit. He was proud of the shit he did, laughing like a bitch. Now he in his feelings. Don't get mad, bro. You know you're supposed to pay our bets. Who you gotta go? Hiding in the wing. We see you scumbag king. Bet you wish you didn't say that shit. Pay your debts, king of kings. I wonder what you really thought when you came out like that, bro. Said fuck it, let me have it. I can take it like you really like to be a scum, yo. You must have thought we was some lame ass niggas you could bully on this boxing talk show. You got us twisted, now you're missing. Don't hear you laughing, scumbo.
Scumbo Baggins. The man so cheap his son told him he wanted to grip. So Scumbo told the boy to start fucking bitches without a rubber. Now that's a scumbag.
So now the men joke, Scumbo, bagging. This nigga full of shit like gumbo, bragging. Self-proclaimed king of kings and king of kinfolk. What? Don't wanna pay his debt cause he been broke. So now the men joke. What? Yo. When it comes to my lyrical thesis, don't be facetious. Calculate what you're going to say, aka speeches. You can play this message for everyone that it reaches. I snatch the pits from their cores, leave you with spineless speeches. I drop landmines like storming no many beaches. Wait while you recover, attack you while at your weakest. You a hypocrite like a sinner who always preaches. Talking about the Lord, but you really don't know who he is. We is judge and jury, fuck what your plea is. Stand trial, but C4 planet right where your feet is. Click the button, kaboom, blow you to little pieces. Have the courtroom smelling like burnt flesh and feces. Jesus, ordering court, just trawling recess. Trying to understand if you witness the shit that we just. Your people upset cause that shit was kind of egregious. I've been over the top ever since I was just a fetus. Yo.